Sarah made $847 last month. She now earns $18,000 monthly. Same job, different mind. What if poverty wasn't about money? What if it was installed software? 3 people. Same starting income. One's now wealthy. One's comfortable. One's drowning. Here's the gap nobody tells you. Thoughts become bank accounts. You'll meet all 3 today. One might be you. This audiobook isn't theory. It's proof. Real people. Real transformations. Real bank statements that changed because minds changed first. And if you're listening to this because you're tired of watching abundance pass you by while you work harder than everyone around you, then you're in the right place. Because what you're about to discover isn't motivation. It's installation. New software for an old operating system that's been running your financial reality since childhood. Sarah's story begins where most abundance journeys actually start. Rock bottom. Not the dramatic kind you see in movies, but the quiet, suffocating kind where you're technically employed, technically functional, and technically drowning. She was a graphic designer at a mid-sized marketing firm in Portland. Salary, position, benefits. The kind of job that looks stable from the outside. $847 is what she took home after taxes, insurance, student loan payments, and the automatic transfers to collections agencies she'd set up to avoid the phone calls. Every 2 weeks, same amount, like clockwork, like a prison sentence with a paycheck. She would sit in her car in the parking garage for 15 minutes after work. Just sitting there. Not crying. Not screaming, just breathing, calculating. $23 left until Friday. Gas tank on empty. Ex-boyfriend's Netflix password still working, thank God. Ramen again tonight. The math never changed. The anxiety never stopped. And the strangest part? She was good at her job. Really good. Clients requested her specifically. Her designs won awards. But her bank account stayed flatlined like a dead patient on a monitor. Here's what Sarah didn't know then. She was running scarcity software, installed early, reinforced daily, operating automatically. Every decision filtered through lack, every opportunity evaluated through fear, every dollar gripped so tightly it couldn't multiply. Her mind was abundance proof, not because she was broken, but because she was programmed. And you can't outwork bad programming. Now let me tell you about Marcus. Different city, different job, same software. Marcus grew up in a household where money was the third parent. Always present, always angry, always leaving. His father worked 2 jobs and still couldn't make rent some months. His mother clipped coupons like a professional athlete training for the Olympics. Every light switch had a lecture attached. Every thermostat adjustment triggered a financial crisis meeting. Money was survival. Scarcity was safety. Abundance was a fantasy for people who didn't understand how the real world worked. Marcus learned early. Don't want things. Don't dream big. Don't trust windfalls. When his aunt sent him $50 for his 10th birthday, his father took 40 of it for the electric bill and told him that's what family does. When he got a scholarship offer for college, his mother cried and asked who would help pay bills if he left. When his first startup idea got investor interest, he sabotaged the meeting because deep down he didn't believe he deserved it. The installation was complete. Scarcity wasn't just a mindset, it was his operating system. By 32, Marcus had been promoted 4 times at his corporate job, 6-figure salary, stock options, corner office, and he still felt broke. Not actually broke, but that tightness in his chest when he looked at his bank account, that panic when unexpected expenses appeared, that inability to enjoy anything he bought because guilt consumed the pleasure. He was wealthy on paper and impoverished in his nervous system. The numbers in his account didn't matter. The software running his mind did. Have you ever noticed that? How 2 people can have the same income and live completely different financial realities. One person makes $60,000 and feels abundant. Another makes $200,000 and feels stressed. It's not the money. It's never the money. It's the program interpreting the money. It's the filter deciding what the numbers mean. It's the operating system converting deposits into emotions. Sarah's turning point came on a Tuesday. Unremarkable day. Regular morning. She opened her email and saw a message from a former client asking if she did freelance work. The project budget was $3,000. Her immediate thought, the automatic one, was that she wasn't qualified enough to charge that much. Her second thought was that she should offer to do it for $1,500 to make sure she got it. Her third thought was that she'd probably mess it up anyway. This entire thought sequence took 4 seconds. Pure scarcity software running at maximum speed. But something different happened that day. She paused, not because she'd been doing mindset work, not because she'd read some transformational book. She paused because she was so exhausted from her own thoughts that she just stopped. And in that pause, she noticed something. She noticed that the thoughts weren't true. They felt true. They sounded true. They had the weight of truth, but they weren't facts. They were programming, old programming, someone else's programming that she'd been running like it was her own. She responded to the email with her full rate, $3,000. Hit send before her brain could stop her, and then she went to the bathroom and threw up from anxiety. Her nervous system was convinced she'd just made a catastrophic mistake. The scarcity program was screaming alerts, danger, overstepping, inevitable rejection ahead. But she'd already hit send. The message was out. The new behavior was executed. And 3 hours later, the client responded with a simple message. Sounds perfect. When can you start? That moment right there. That's where rewiring begins. Not with affirmations. Not with vision boards. Not with hoping and wishing and trying to think positive thoughts. Rewiring begins when you catch the old program running and execute a different behavior anyway. When you feel the scarcity script activate and you choose a new response. When your nervous system screams danger and you proceed with aligned action despite the fear. That's the interrupt. That's the glitch in the matrix. That's the first crack in software that's been running your life for decades. Sarah took that freelance project, did exceptional work. The client hired her for 3 more projects. She started saying yes to opportunities her old programming would have rejected. Within 47 days, she had made $4,200 in freelance income on top of her regular salary. Her bank account shifted, but more importantly, her internal experience of money shifted. The tightness started loosening. The panic started quieting. The scarcity software started crashing. New programming was being written in real time. Let's talk about the installation moment. The moment scarcity became your default. Because it wasn't random. It wasn't genetic. It was installed, usually early, often by people who loved you and were trying to protect you. Marcus's installation happened at that kitchen table, watching his parents fight about money. Sarah's happened when she was 7, and her mom started crying after the car broke down because they didn't have money for repairs. For some of you listening right now, it happened when a parent said no to something you wanted and attached shame to the asking. For others, it was watching someone lose everything and learning that security is a myth. For some, it was being told that money doesn't grow on trees so many times that abundance became a fairy tale. The installation is different for everyone, but the result is the same. A program that runs automatically, that filters every financial decision through fear, that converts opportunity into threat, that makes scarcity feel like wisdom and abundance feel like foolishness. And here's the painful part. The program works. It keeps you safe. It prevents risk. It maintains the familiar. It does exactly what it was designed to do. Protect you from the pain that money can cause. The problem is, it also protects you from the abundance money can create. Think about your own installation for a moment, not to analyze it to death or blame anyone, just to see it. What was the moment or the season when scarcity became your safety protocol? When did abundance shift from possible to dangerous. What story about money got written into your code so deeply that you don't even recognize it as a story anymore? You just think it's reality. James was a bartender in Austin when his rewiring began. 29 years old, good tips on weekends, barely scraping by on weekdays. He had a degree in marketing he wasn't using because he'd convinced himself the job market was too competitive, and he didn't have enough experience, and someone else was always more qualified. Classic scarcity program. Protect against rejection by rejecting yourself first. Stay small. Stay safe. Stay broke, but comfortable in your brokenness. Someone left a book on the bar one night. Forgotten. James picked it up during cleanup. It was about neuroplasticity, how the brain creates pathways, how repeated thoughts become automatic patterns, how you can literally rewire your neural circuitry through deliberate practice. He read it during his break, then took it home, then read it again, and something clicked. His broke wasn't circumstantial. His broke was neurological. He had a superhighway in his brain for lack thoughts and a dirt path for abundance thoughts. Every financial decision traveled the highway, fast, automatic, unconscious. The abundance path was overgrown from disuse. James started practicing the 3-step interrupt protocol he created from that book. Step 1. Catch the scarcity thought in real time. Step 2. Pause before the automatic behavior executes. Step 3. Choose one different action aligned with abundance. Simple. Not easy, but simple. The first time he tried it was when a regular customer asked if he did any marketing consulting on the side. His automatic thought was that he wasn't qualified. His automatic response would have been to laugh it off and change the subject. Instead, he caught it, paused, and said, "Yes, actually, I do. Let's talk." His hands were shaking when he wrote his phone number on a napkin. The scarcity program was in full alarm mode. You're a fraud. You're going to get exposed. You don't know enough. Danger. Abort. But he'd already executed the new behavior. The neural interrupt was complete. 3 days later, he met the customer for coffee, landed a $1,500 consulting project, and the pathway got a little less overgrown. Here's what nobody tells you about rewiring. It feels wrong at first. It feels dangerous. It feels like you're lying or pretending or being someone you're not. That's because you're running new behavior on old wiring. The circuitry is screaming mismatch. Error. Return to default. Your nervous system is designed to keep you alive, not abundant, and it can't tell the difference between actual danger and unfamiliar behavior. So it treats every new action like a threat. Every abundance choice feels like jumping off a cliff, because to your scarcity-programmed brain, it is. James ran the interrupt protocol 17 times in the first week, caught 17 scarcity thoughts, paused 17 automatic responses, executed 17 different behaviors. His nervous system was exhausted. His brain was convinced he was having some kind of breakdown. But his bank account started shifting, small changes at first. An extra consulting gig here, a better tip there, a friend who needed marketing help and could actually pay for it. Nothing dramatic, nothing Instagram-worthy, just consistent new results from consistent new programming. By day 47, James had made $4,200 outside his bartending income. Same number as Sarah, different city, different method, same principle. Interrupt the scarcity program. Install new behavior. Let the brain build new pathways. Watch reality shift to match the new circuitry. The math is simple. Your thoughts create your actions. Your actions create your results. Your results reinforce your thoughts. It's a loop, and most people are stuck in a scarcity loop wondering why abundance never arrives. The loop has to break. The interrupt has to happen. New wiring has to be installed deliberately, repeatedly, consistently. Now let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa loved affirmations. She had them everywhere. Mirror affirmations, car affirmations, Phone background affirmations. I am abundant. Money flows to me easily. I am a magnet for wealth. She said them every morning, believed them while she said them, and then went about her day running the exact same scarcity program she'd been running for 30 years. The affirmations were like screaming positive thoughts at a computer running broken code, loud, enthusiastic, completely ineffective. Lisa's frustration was real. She was doing everything the manifestation teachers told her to do. Visualizing, affirming, raising her vibration, feeling grateful, and nothing changed. Her income stayed flat. Her opportunities stayed scarce. Her financial anxiety stayed high. She started thinking maybe she was broken. Maybe abundance wasn't for her. Maybe some people were just wired for struggle. The truth was simpler and more fixable. Forced positivity doesn't rewire anything. It just creates internal conflict. Here's the issue with affirmations that aren't connected to evidence. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It's designed to spot what's real and filter out what's false. When you stand in front of a mirror and say, I am abundant, while your bank account shows $73, and your credit cards are maxed, and your rent is late, your brain doesn't buy it. It sees the mismatch. It rejects the data. The affirmation becomes noise, pretty noise, hopeful noise, but noise nonetheless. What Lisa needed wasn't more affirmations. It was evidence-based appreciation, a fundamental difference. Affirmations tell your brain what you want to be true. Evidence-based appreciation shows your brain what's already true that you've been filtering out. Your brain is deleting abundance data constantly. Not because it's mean, because it's efficient. It shows you what you've trained it to see. If you've trained it to see lack, it will find lack everywhere and present it as reality. If you train it to see abundance, evidence, it will find that instead. Lisa started the evidence protocol on a Sunday. Simple practice. At the end of each day, write down 3 pieces of abundance evidence from the last 24 hours. Not affirmations, not wishes. Evidence. Proof that abundance already exists in your current reality. Day 1 was hard. She sat with her journal for 20 minutes, convinced there was no evidence to find. Her brain kept offering lack data. Bills due, income insufficient, opportunities missing. The scarcity filter was working perfectly, but she stayed with it and finally found something. She'd gotten her coffee for free that morning because the barista made an extra one by mistake. Small, arguably insignificant. But evidence. The universe delivered unexpected abundance. She wrote it down, then found another one. A friend had sent her a funny video that made her laugh for 5 minutes straight. Free entertainment, free joy, abundance of connection. She wrote it down, then another. She'd found a $20 bill in a jacket pocket she hadn't worn in months. Unexpected money appearing. She wrote it down. 3 pieces of evidence. Day 1 complete. Day 7, something shifted. She was finding evidence faster. A stranger let her merge in traffic. Abundance of kindness. Her neighbor brought over extra vegetables from their garden. Abundance of food. She found a solution to a work problem that saved her 3 hours. Abundance of time. Her brain was starting to run a new search protocol. Instead of automatically filtering for lack, it was beginning to scan for abundance. The evidence was always there. She'd just been trained not to see it. By day 30, Lisa's evidence journal had 90 entries, 90 pieces of proof that abundance was operating in her life constantly. Her nervous system started relaxing, not because she'd affirmed her way into delusion, because she'd trained her perception to see what was real and previously invisible. The scarcity filter was weakening. The abundance filter was strengthening. And when opportunity showed up, her brain recognized it instead of deleting it as irrelevant data. A former colleague reached out about a project. Old Lisa would have immediately thought of reasons she wasn't qualified. New Lisa, the one with 30 days of abundance evidence in her nervous system, saw it differently. Opportunity appears. Pattern recognized. Data matches evidence journal theme. Abundance is operating. Say yes. She took the project. It paid $2,200. More abundance evidence. The loop was reversing. Scarcity out. Abundance in. New program installing. Here's what's happening in your brain when you do this practice. You're literally retraining your reticular activating system. That's the part of your brain that filters reality and decides what gets your attention. Right now, if you're struggling financially, your RAS is set to find threat, scarcity, and lack. It's doing its job, keeping you alert to danger. But it's also making you blind to abundance. You're deleting opportunities, ignoring resources, and missing evidence because your filter is set wrong. Evidence-based appreciation resets the filter. Deliberately, consistently. You're teaching your brain that abundance is relevant data, that it matters, that it's worth noticing. And your brain is obedient. It shows you what you tell it matters. Scarcity people see scarcity everywhere because their brain is hunting for it. Abundance people see abundance everywhere because their brain is hunting for that instead. Same world, different filters, different results. Try something right now. Stop and find 3 pieces of abundance evidence from your last 24 hours. Not huge things, not life-changing moments, just evidence. Proof that abundance is already operating in your current reality. Maybe someone held a door for you. Maybe you have clean water. Maybe you woke up without an alarm. Maybe your phone works. Maybe you heard a song you love. Maybe traffic was lighter than expected. Find 3. I'll wait. Because this isn't about consuming information. It's about installing new software. And installation requires participation. Did you find them? If you did, notice how it feels different than affirmations. Affirmations feel like reaching. Evidence feels like recognizing. Affirmations require belief. Evidence requires awareness. Affirmations fight your current reality. Evidence reveals the abundance that's already in it. This difference is everything. This is why Lisa's practice worked when her mirror affirmations didn't. She stopped fighting reality and started seeing it clearly. Now let's talk about David. David had a receiving problem, not a getting problem, a receiving problem. Fundamental difference. He could work. He could hustle. He could generate opportunity. But when abundance actually showed up, he rejected it. Not consciously, not deliberately, but automatically. Like his system had a built-in deflection shield for anything good. Someone would compliment his work. He'd deflect. Oh, it wasn't that good. Someone would offer to help him. He'd refuse. I got it. Thanks anyway. Someone would try to pay him what he was worth. He'd discount. Let me give you a deal. Someone would give him a gift. He'd immediately try to reciprocate. I can't just accept this. Every single time abundance tried to enter, David's program blocked it at the door. He was working himself to exhaustion, trying to create abundance while simultaneously rejecting it every time it arrived. This is more common than you think. Most scarcity-programmed people have a receiving gap. They can give, they can work, they can earn, but they cannot receive, because receiving requires worthiness, and their program says they're not worthy. That abundance is for other people, that they have to work harder, be better, prove more before they deserve it. So they reject compliments, decline help, undercharge for value, and stay broke despite massive effort. David's $50,000 lesson came from a consulting contract. He'd been working with a client for 6 months, delivering exceptional results, transforming their business. The client was thrilled, wanted to extend the contract and double the fee. David's immediate response was to offer a discount for the extended term. Loyalty pricing. The client looked confused, asked why he was negotiating against himself. David didn't have an answer, just an automatic program running without his permission. The client said something that broke David's pattern. They said, "David, I'm trying to give you $100,000 for the next 6 months of work. You're trying to talk me into 50. Why are you blocking the abundance you created?" David sat with that question for 3 days. Why was he blocking it? And the answer came up from deep programming. Because receiving that much feels wrong, feels unearned, feels like I'm taking advantage, feels like it won't last, so I should protect the client from overpaying, feels like I don't deserve it. The program was clear once he saw it. Receiving is dangerous. Receiving creates debt. Receiving makes you vulnerable. Receiving means you'll owe something. Better to stay small. Better to undercharge. Better to block the flow than risk the obligation. This software was installed in childhood. His family didn't accept help. Pride. Independence. We don't need anyone. We handle our own. Receiving was weakness. Rejecting was strength. The installation was complete. David started tracking his rejection patterns. How many times per day did he deflect compliments, decline help, undercharge for value, talk clients into paying less? The number was staggering. 17 times in one day. 17 times abundance tried to flow, and he blocked it. His receiving gap wasn't a small leak, it was a dam, and he'd been wondering why his reservoir stayed empty while working himself to exhaustion filling it. The protocol he created was simple. For 30 days, accept everything offered. Compliments, help, full payment, gifts, opportunities. Just receive. No deflection. No reciprocation requirement. No mental negotiation about worthiness. Just receive and say thank you. That's it. 2 words. Thank you. Let it in. Let it land. Let the abundance actually arrive instead of bouncing off the shield. Day 1 was excruciating. Someone complimented his presentation. His mouth opened to deflect. The old program fired. Oh, I just threw it together. But he caught it, paused, and said thank you instead. 2 words. His nervous system vibrated with discomfort, danger, vulnerability, exposure. But he sat with it, didn't fix it, didn't deflect it, just received it. The compliment landed. The abundance entered. The gap closed slightly. Day 7, someone offered to introduce him to a potential client. Old David would have said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." New David said thank you. The introduction happened. The client hired him. $5,000 project. Abundance that would have been rejected by the old program. Received by the new one. The gap was closing faster. By day 30, David had received over $40,000 in unexpected income, help, opportunities, and resources. Not because he worked harder, because he stopped blocking what was trying to reach him. The receiving gap wasn't about effort. It was about permission. Permission to let abundance in. Permission to be worthy of receiving. Permission to accept flow instead of forcing it. What's your receiving gap look like? How often do you deflect compliments, decline help, undercharge, talk people into paying you less, reject gifts, feel uncomfortable when good things happen? That discomfort is your program running. Scarcity software designed to keep you safe by keeping you small. The rewiring isn't comfortable, but it's necessary, because you cannot build abundance while rejecting it at the door. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to see something. Visualize your life as a house. Look at the front door. Now watch as opportunities approach. Jobs, money, relationships, help, recognition. Watch them walk up to your door, and notice what happens. Does the door open easily? Or is there a lock, a chain, a defensive shield? Watch yourself at the door. Do you fling it open with welcome, or crack it slightly with suspicion? Do you receive what's being offered, or do you immediately think of reasons to refuse it? This isn't metaphor. This is your actual receiving mechanism. And if you're watching yourself in this visualization turning away abundance, you've found your gap. The good news is, gaps can close, programs can change, doors can open. You just have to see the pattern first. You can't fix what you can't see. And most people never see their receiving gap because they're too busy working harder to generate more. But generation without reception is a bucket with a hole in it. Fix the hole first. Rachel understood this intuitively. She was a photographer who could create stunning work but couldn't seem to build a sustainable business. Every month was a scramble. Every client was a relief. Every payment felt like it might be the last. She lived in constant financial anxiety despite being talented enough to charge premium rates. Her problem wasn't skill, it was evidence. She had no evidence that abundance was sustainable. Every positive month felt like luck. Every good client felt like a fluke. Her brain had no pattern to recognize except scarcity and struggle. So Rachel started the Abundance Proof Journal, a systematic documentation practice that trained her brain to see patterns of wealth building instead of random events. Every time money came in, she didn't just deposit it and move on. She documented it. Where did this client come from? What pattern led to this booking? What abundance principle was operating? She was building a database of proof, evidence that abundance wasn't random. It was predictable. It followed patterns, and she could learn to recognize and replicate those patterns. Month 1, the journal revealed something surprising. 70% of her bookings came from referrals, not from her marketing, not from her social media, from happy clients telling other people. That was the pattern. That was the abundance mechanism. Word of mouth, which meant her marketing energy was misplaced. She'd been spending hours on Instagram trying to attract cold leads when her real abundance source was client experience and referral systems. She shifted her energy, stopped obsessing over social media algorithms, started obsessing over client delight, over-delivered on every project, asked for referrals systematically, created a referral reward system, followed up with past clients. The abundance pattern she'd identified in her journal became her business strategy, and the results matched the pattern. Referrals increased, bookings stabilized, income grew, not because she worked harder, because she worked aligned with the actual abundance pattern operating in her business. By month 3, the journal had another insight. Her highest-paying clients all came from a specific source, a particular vendor she worked with on events. Every single premium booking traced back to this connection. One relationship, multiple 5-figure projects. That was a pattern worth noting, worth nurturing, worth protecting. She deepened that relationship, showed up at their events, brought them coffee, sent thank you notes, treated that connection like the abundant source it was. More referrals came, more premium bookings, more evidence that abundance follows patterns. The journal became her business Bible. 90 days of documented evidence showing her exactly how abundance operated in her specific reality. It wasn't theory. It wasn't manifestation magic. It was data, proof, repeatable patterns. And her brain finally had something to work with. Instead of seeing every good month as luck, she saw it as pattern confirmation. Instead of panicking during slow weeks, she reviewed her journal and executed the proven abundance patterns. Her nervous system calmed, her strategy clarified, her income stabilized. This is what your brain needs. Not affirmations, not hope, evidence. Proof that abundance is operating according to patterns you can identify and replicate. Your scarcity program convinces you that money is random. That success is luck. That abundance is for other people. The Proof Journal destroys that program with data. Real data. Your data. Patterns from your life showing you exactly how abundance flows to you. Start this today, not tomorrow. Today. Every time money comes in, document it. Where did it come from? What led to it? What pattern was operating? Every time an opportunity appears, write it down. What created this? What abundance principle is visible here? Build your evidence file. Train your brain to see wealth-building patterns instead of random luck. This practice alone can transform your financial reality because it transforms your financial perception. And perception determines behavior. Behavior determines results. Tom discovered the proximity code by accident. He was a software developer making decent money, but feeling stuck. Same projects, same clients, same income ceiling. He wanted to break through but didn't know how. Then his company moved offices. Suddenly, he was having lunch near a co-working space where entrepreneurs gathered. He started eating there, just for variety, better coffee, different scenery, nothing intentional about abundance, but something shifted. The conversations around him were different. People at the co-working space weren't talking about projects and deadlines. They were talking about equity, exits, raising capital, building companies, selling for multiples. The language was different. The thinking was different. The expectations were different. Tom found himself listening, absorbing, recalibrating what was possible. One day, someone at the next table was complaining about needing a technical co-founder for their startup. Tom's old program said, "That's not for you. You're an employee. Stay in your lane." But his new environment had been softening that program for weeks. He walked over, introduced himself, had a conversation. 3 weeks later, he had equity in a startup. 6 months later, that equity was worth $40,000. 18 months later, the startup was acquired. Tom's equity share was $280,000. From a conversation he would have never had if he hadn't changed his proximity. This is the proximity code. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not because of peer pressure, because of neural mirroring. Your brain is designed to sync with the people around you. Their language becomes your language. Their expectations become your expectations. Their normal becomes your normal. If you're surrounded by scarcity thinkers, your brain will mirror scarcity thinking. If you're surrounded by abundance thinkers, your brain will mirror abundance thinking. It's automatic. It's neurological. It's unavoidable. Tom started mapping his network. Who were his 5 closest contacts? What was their financial frequency? What did they talk about? What did they expect? What did they consider normal? The answer was uncomfortable. His 5 closest contacts were all employees, all trading time for money, all complaining about money, all stuck at similar income levels, all running the same scarcity program. He loved these people, but their proximity was reinforcing his limitations. He made a strategic decision, not to abandon his friends, but to expand his circle deliberately, to add new proximity, people operating at the level he wanted to reach. He joined a mastermind for entrepreneurs, started attending startup meetups, had coffee with people building businesses, put himself in rooms where abundance thinking was the default language. His scarcity friends didn't disappear, but they were no longer his only influence. The shift was faster than he expected. Within 90 days, his language changed. He stopped saying, "I can't afford that." Started saying, "How can I afford that?" Stopped saying, "That's not for people like me." Started saying, "What would it take to be someone who does that?" His brain was mirroring new patterns, absorbing new expectations, installing new normal, and his behavior changed to match. He took risks his old proximity would have talked him out of, said yes to opportunities his old circle would have called crazy, invested in himself in ways his scarcity network would have criticized. His income tripled in year 1, not because he worked 3 times harder, because he changed his proximity, and his proximity changed his programming. The people you're closest to are running software. That software is contagious. You're downloading it through every conversation, every interaction, every shared assumption about what's possible and what's not. If their software is scarcity, you're installing scarcity. If their software is abundance, you're installing abundance. The proximity code is simple. Change your circle. Change your code. Change your results. Look at your current 5. Who are they? What's their financial reality? What's their language around money? What do they consider possible? What do they consider crazy? If you told them you wanted to triple your income, would they encourage you or caution you? If you told them you were starting a business, would they celebrate or warn you about the risks? Their response tells you what program they're running and what program you're downloading from proximity. This doesn't mean you abandon everyone. It means you expand deliberately. You add new voices, new perspectives, new examples, new normal. You put yourself in rooms where your goals are someone else's starting point, where your ceiling is their floor, where your impossible is their Tuesday. And you let your brain mirror that frequency until it becomes your new baseline. Jennifer learned about the value mirror the hard way. She was a business consultant charging by the hour, $60 per hour. She'd calculated her worth based on industry averages, her experience level, and what she thought clients would accept. Standard scarcity pricing model. Base your value on external factors and undercut to stay competitive. She worked 40 billable hours per week, made around $5,000 per month, and was exhausted. A mentor asked her a simple question. What transformation do your clients get from working with you? Jennifer listed results: increased revenue, streamlined operations, better team performance, higher profit margins. The mentor asked, "What's that worth to them?" Jennifer hadn't thought about it that way. She'd been pricing her time, not their transformation. Her clients were making an extra $50,000 to $200,000 per year from her strategies, and she was charging $60 per hour. The math didn't math. The value mirror is this. Your price should reflect the transformation you deliver, not the time you spend. Time-based pricing is a scarcity model. It caps your income at your available hours. It commoditizes your expertise. It makes you expensive when you're actually cheap. Transformation-based pricing is an abundance model. It aligns your compensation with client results. It makes you valuable instead of affordable. It mirrors the actual worth you create. Jennifer restructured everything, stopped offering hourly consulting, started offering transformation packages, 90-day intensive, specific outcome promised, $25,000 fee. Her scarcity program screamed, "Nobody will pay that. You're not worth that. You'll lose all your clients." But she'd seen the math. Her clients were getting $200,000 results from her $60 per hour advice. $25,000 for 90 days of guaranteed transformation was cheap. First client said yes immediately. Second client negotiated slightly but agreed. Third client said it was exactly what they needed. Within 60 days, Jennifer had 3 clients at $25,000 each. $75,000 for the same work she used to do for $15,000. Same expertise, same strategies, same time investment, different pricing model, different income, because she'd learned to mirror value instead of time. Here's what happens when you make this shift. You start attracting different clients. Price-sensitive clients disappear. Value-sensitive clients appear. People who want cheap want hours. People who want transformation want results. When you price for transformation, you filter for clients who are serious, who are committed, who are ready to implement. The quality of your work improves because the quality of your clients improves, and your income detaches from your hours. You can make more while working less because you are compensated for value, not time. What transformation do you deliver? Not what do you do? What changes because you did it? If you're a designer, what revenue increase does great design create? If you're a writer, what business results does compelling copy generate? If you're a coach, what life transformation happens from your guidance? That transformation is your value. That transformation is what you should price, not your hours, not your effort, your results. Jennifer's income went from $60,000 per year to $340,000 in 18 months. Same skills, same work, different mirror. She stopped looking at industry standards and started looking at client transformations. Stopped pricing herself and started pricing her results. The value mirror doesn't lie. If you're delivering real transformation, your pricing should reflect it. If your pricing doesn't reflect it, you're running scarcity software that keeps you affordable instead of valuable. Now let's talk about the inheritance nobody wants, money trauma. Passed down like eye color and bone structure, Carlos grew up watching his father work 3 jobs and still lose the house. Watched his mother choose between medication and groceries. Watched his sister's college fund disappear in a medical emergency. Money in his family wasn't a tool. It was a weapon, a source of pain, a guarantee of disappointment. The installation was deep, cellular, generational. By the time Carlos was 35, he was making 6 figures. Should have felt abundant, should have felt secure. Instead, he felt terrified. Every dollar saved felt like a dollar waiting to be taken. Every financial win felt temporary. Every success felt fragile. He couldn't enjoy money because his program said money causes pain. His nervous system was running his father's fear, his mother's anxiety, his family's financial trauma. Not his experience, theirs. Downloaded through proximity, installed through observation, operating automatically. The breakthrough came during a conversation with his wife. She asked why he panicked every time they had an unexpected expense, even small ones, even when they had savings to cover it. Carlos didn't have an answer, just an immediate flood of anxiety, a tightness in his chest, a certainty that disaster was coming. His wife pointed out that they'd never actually experienced financial disaster, but Carlos felt like he had, because he'd inherited the disaster his parents experienced. His nervous system was responding to their trauma like it was his own. Breaking a family money curse requires seeing it clearly, distinguishing between your actual experience and your inherited programming. Carlos started the separation practice. Every time financial anxiety appeared, he asked himself, is this mine or is this theirs? Is this my actual experience or my downloaded fear? Most of the time, it was downloaded. He'd never lost a home, never had to choose between medicine and food, never worked 3 jobs. His father had, his mother had, but he hadn't. The fear was real, but it wasn't his. This distinction is critical. You can't rewire trauma that isn't yours by processing it as yours. You have to see it as inherited code, someone else's program running on your hardware, and once you see it that way, you can choose to uninstall it, not by dismissing their pain, but by recognizing that their experience doesn't have to determine your reality. Their past doesn't have to be your future. Their fear doesn't have to be your filter. Carlos started writing a new money story. Not affirmations, not positive thinking, a factual account of his actual financial experience. I have never missed a mortgage payment. I have never had to choose between basic needs. I have savings. I have income. I have options. I have a different financial reality than my parents had. Their struggle was real. My security is also real. I honor their experience without inheriting their fear. He read this story every morning for 90 days, not to convince himself of something false, to remind himself of something true, to separate his reality from their trauma, to give his nervous system permission to relax, to install new programming based on his actual life instead of their inherited pain. And slowly, the panic loosened. The anxiety quieted. The money curse weakened, not because he abandoned his family's story, because he stopped living it as his own. What money curse are you carrying? What financial trauma got passed down that isn't actually yours? What fear are you running that came from someone else's experience? This isn't about blame. It's about clarity. Your parents or grandparents may have had real financial pain, real struggle, real loss. That's their story, their truth, their experience. But it doesn't have to be your program. You can honor their journey without repeating it. You can acknowledge their pain without inheriting their fear. You can write a new story based on your actual reality instead of their historical trauma. The money conversation Carlos had with his father changed everything. He didn't attack, didn't blame, just asked questions. "Dad, what was your biggest fear about money when I was growing up?" His father's answer was immediate: that we'd lose everything and I couldn't protect you. Carlos asked another question: did that fear help you or hurt you? His father thought about it, then admitted it probably hurt more than helped, made him afraid to take opportunities, afraid to invest, afraid to believe things could be different. That conversation gave Carlos permission to choose differently, permission to not carry the same fear, permission to trust that his father's trauma didn't have to be his destiny. They talked about money differently after that. His father started sharing regrets instead of warnings, started talking about what he wished he'd done differently instead of insisting Carlos follow the same cautious path. The curse was breaking, not just for Carlos, for the whole family line. This is generational healing, not therapy, not years of processing, just honest conversation, clear distinction, new story installation. You don't have to carry financial trauma that isn't yours. You don't have to repeat patterns that didn't serve the people before you. You can be the one who breaks the cycle, who installs new programming, who creates a different financial legacy. It starts with seeing the curse clearly, then choosing to not pass it forward. Kim's story is about failure fertilizer. She filed for bankruptcy at 32. Business collapse, partnership dissolution, legal fees, debt pile, the whole catastrophic package. From the outside, it looked like the end. From the inside, it felt like death. Everything she'd built was gone. Everything she'd believed about herself was shattered. She was broken, and convinced she'd never recover. 2 years later, Kim owned 3 businesses generating over $1 million annually. The bankruptcy wasn't the end. It was the education. Every mistake she made became a lesson she applied. Every partnership failure taught her what to look for in future partners. Every financial decision that went wrong taught her what questions to ask before committing capital. The bankruptcy wasn't wasted pain. It was expensive wisdom, and she leveraged it like an MBA from the school of hard reality. Here's what most people do with failure. They bury it, hide it, pretend it didn't happen, carry shame about it. Let it become evidence that they're not capable. Let it reinforce scarcity programming. Kim did the opposite. She autopsied it, dissected every decision, analyzed every mistake, extracted every lesson, documented every warning sign she'd ignored, built a failure manual that became her success blueprint. The manual had sections: red flags in partnerships, what to look for, what to run from, what questions to ask before signing anything, financial decision protocols, what data to require, what assumptions to challenge, what risks to calculate, what scenarios to plan for, client selection criteria, who to work with, who to avoid, what misalignment looks like early. Every section was written in failure blood. Every insight cost her money she didn't have. Every lesson was paid for with stress she couldn't afford. But she converted the tuition into curriculum. Her next business launched with the failure manual as the operating system. Every decision filtered through bankruptcy lessons. Every partnership evaluated against collapse criteria. Every financial commitment stress-tested against disaster scenarios. She wasn't being pessimistic. She was being educated. And the education worked. Business 1 hit profitability in 4 months. Business 2 scaled to 6 figures in year 1. Business 3 became the $1 million winner. Not because she was lucky, because she was learned. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the fertilizer for it, but only if you extract the nutrients. Only if you convert pain into wisdom. Only if you treat mistakes as data instead of identity. Most people fail and conclude they're failures. Kim failed and concluded she had information nobody else had. Information worth money, worth businesses, worth success. The bankruptcy gave her an edge. She knew what didn't work. Most entrepreneurs are guessing. She had expensive proof. What failure are you carrying as shame instead of leveraging as wisdom? What mistake are you hiding instead of mining for lessons? What collapse are you using as evidence of inadequacy instead of education in reality? The scarcity program says failure means you're not good enough. The abundance program says failure means you're learning expensive lessons you can apply for profit. Same failure, different interpretation, different result. Kim created the Failure to Intel Conversion Protocol. Simple practice. Take any financial failure or mistake. Write down exactly what happened. No stories, no blame, just facts. Then extract 3 lessons. What did this teach you about decision-making? What warning signs did you miss? What will you do differently next time? Then apply 1 lesson immediately. Don't wait. Don't process forever. Extract and execute. Turn the loss into a win by using the intelligence. She did this with every failure. Small ones, big ones, medium ones. Each one became a data point. Each one contributed to her operating manual. Each one made her smarter, sharper, more prepared. By the time she launched her next business, she had a library of intelligence most entrepreneurs pay consultants millions to learn. She got it for the price of bankruptcy, expensive education, but she made sure she graduated with honors. Michael understood the overflow principle after years of grinding. He'd been hustling hard, chasing clients, pitching constantly, working 18-hour days, trying to force abundance through sheer effort, and he was making okay money. But he was exhausted, burned out, running on empty. The scarcity program had convinced him that abundance requires force, that you have to chase it, catch it, wrestle it into submission. He was hunting abundance like prey. Then something shifted. A project fell through. A big one. Should have been devastating. Instead, Michael was relieved. He realized he'd been so busy chasing that he'd stopped creating. So busy pitching that he'd stopped innovating. So busy hustling that he'd stopped being excellent. The chase was making him mediocre. And mediocre doesn't attract abundance. It repels it. He stopped pitching for 30 days. Just stopped. Put all his energy into creating the best work of his life. Built a case study that showcased real results. Wrote content that demonstrated real expertise. Developed a methodology that solved real problems. He wasn't chasing clients. He was building value. And something unexpected happened. Clients started reaching out to him, not because he pitched them, because they saw his work and wanted in. This is the overflow principle. Abundance doesn't come from chasing. It comes from creating so much value that overflow is inevitable. When you're chasing, you're operating from lack. When you're creating, you're operating from overflow. Lack repels. Overflow attracts. It's magnetic physics. People don't want to hire desperate. They want to hire abundant. And you can't fake abundance while running scarcity behavior. Michael restructured his entire approach, stopped outbound pitching, started value creation. Every week, he created 1 piece of excellent content, 1 case study, 1 insight, 1 demonstration of expertise. He gave it away freely, not as a lead magnet, as overflow, as proof that he had abundance to share. And the results were counterintuitive. The less he chased, the more clients appeared. The more he gave, the more he received. The more he created from overflow, the more overflow appeared. Within 6 months, his client roster was full, with better clients, paying higher fees, requiring less convincing, because they came to him. They sought him out. They were pre-sold by his overflow. He didn't have to chase them because they were chasing the value he was creating. The hustle was over. The overflow was operating, and his income tripled while his hours dropped. This principle breaks scarcity brains. How can working less create more? How can giving away value attract payment? How can stopping the chase increase the catch? It defies scarcity logic, but it operates on abundance physics. Scarcity is finite. Overflow is infinite. Scarcity requires hoarding. Overflow requires circulation. Scarcity operates from fear. Overflow operates from trust. Different operating system. Different results. What would it look like to stop chasing and start overflowing? What if you put all your energy into creating exceptional value instead of convincing people to buy adequate value? What if you gave away your best ideas instead of hoarding them behind paywalls? What if you trusted that overflow attracts instead of believing that chasing captures? This isn't about working less. It's about working aligned. Effort from scarcity creates exhaustion. Effort from overflow creates magnetism. Michael's new filter was simple. Before saying yes to any opportunity, he asked himself one question. Is this chase energy or overflow energy? Chase energy felt tight, desperate, convincing, forcing. Overflow energy felt expansive, generous, attractive, natural. If it was chase energy, he declined. If it was overflow energy, he engaged. The filter alone transformed his business because it kept him aligned with abundance instead of operating from lack. Angela discovered the generosity paradox by ignoring all financial advice. Every expert told her to save money, hoard resources, protect her income, build her reserves, standard scarcity wisdom. She did the opposite, started giving, not recklessly, strategically. She identified people and causes aligned with her values and gave consistently. Gave money, gave time, gave expertise, gave connections. The scarcity people in her life thought she was crazy. You can't afford to give. You need to save. You're being irresponsible. But Angela understood something they didn't. Generosity is a circulation system. Money that flows out creates space for money to flow in. Money that's hoarded stagnates. Energy that's shared multiplies. Energy that's gripped constricts. She wasn't giving from lack. She was giving from overflow. And overflow begets overflow. The more she gave, the more she received. Not because of karma, because of circulation physics. She tracked it. Every time she gave significantly, within 2 weeks, abundance showed up. New client, unexpected check, opportunity, refund, gift. The pattern was consistent. Give. Receive. Give more. Receive more. Not one-to-one. Not transactional. But circulatory. The flow increased. The channels widened. The abundance accelerated. Her scarcity friends watched in confusion as she gave away thousands and received tens of thousands back. It violated their programming. It confirmed hers. Here's the key. Angela wasn't giving to get. That's manipulation, not generosity. She was giving because she had overflow, because abundance was her operating system, because circulation was her natural state. The receiving wasn't the goal. It was the byproduct. When you give from overflow, you signal to your nervous system that you have abundance. That signal is powerful. It relaxes scarcity programming. It reinforces abundance identity. It creates energetic alignment that attracts more. The strategic giving formula Angela developed had 3 components. Give to people or causes that align with your values. Give consistently, not randomly. Give in a way that doesn't deplete you. This isn't about giving until you're broke. That's scarcity dressed as generosity. This is about giving as an expression of overflow, as proof to yourself and the universe that you operate from abundance, as a circulation system that keeps energy moving instead of stagnating. She gave 10% of her gross income every month, non-negotiable, half to causes she cared about, half to people she wanted to support. The amount wasn't symbolic. It was significant enough to matter, significant enough to trigger her scarcity program, significant enough to require trust, and that significance created transformation. Every time she gave, she was choosing abundance over fear, choosing circulation over hoarding, choosing trust over scarcity. The choice became the practice. The practice became the program. Her income increased 40% in year 1, 80% in year 2. Not because giving is a magic trick, because giving reinforced abundance programming, because circulation attracted opportunity, because generosity positioned her as someone operating from overflow and people want to work with overflow. Her business grew, her network expanded, her opportunities multiplied, and she kept giving because the circulation was working. Let me tell you about the moment Angela's program almost broke. Month 4 of her giving practice. Unexpected expense hit. Car transmission failure. $4,000. Her scarcity program screamed, "See, this is why you save. This is why giving is dangerous. This is why you can't afford generosity. You're going to run out. You're going to be broke. Stop giving immediately." The fear was visceral, real, overwhelming. She had the money in savings, could cover the repair, but her automatic thought was to skip that month's giving, protect the reserves, hoard against future disasters. Classic scarcity response, the old program running at full volume. And she almost listened. Almost. Her finger hovered over the cancel button on her monthly donation, one click away from reverting to default scarcity. But she paused, asked herself the critical question, is this decision from fear or trust? Fear said, stop giving. Trust said, keep circulating. Fear said, protect yourself. Trust said, abundance is still operating. Fear said, this expense proves scarcity. Trust said, this is just data, not destiny. She chose trust, kept the donation, paid for the repair, and waited to see what happened. Within 9 days, 3 things occurred. A past client reached out with a new project, $6,000. An old invoice she'd written off as uncollectible got paid, $2,000. A speaking opportunity appeared, $3,000 fee. Total abundance received in 9 days, $11,000. Total given that month, $400. The circulation worked, the overflow returned, the trust was validated. This is the relapse moment most people face. When scarcity gets loud, when fear feels justified, when old programming rushes back with evidence and urgency and familiar protection protocols. This is where most abundance installations fail. Not because the program doesn't work, because the practitioner reverts to default under pressure. The relapse-proofing plan matters here. It determines whether transformation sticks or scarcity reclaims territory. Angela created her relapse protocol that week. Simple rules for when scarcity screams return. Rule 1. Pause before any fear-based financial decision. 24-hour minimum. No immediate action from panic. Rule 2. Review abundance evidence journal. Read proof of past circulation. Remind nervous system of pattern. Rule 3. Ask the fear or trust question. Identify the energy behind the decision. Choose trust even when fear feels justified. Rule 4. Execute one small abundance action. Give something. Receive something. Circulate something. Break the scarcity spiral with overflow behavior. She used this protocol 17 times in the first year. 17 moments when scarcity tried to reclaim control. 17 times she could have reverted. 17 times she chose abundance instead. The relapse proofing worked, not because she never felt fear, because she had a protocol for when fear appeared. The installation held. The program strengthened. The abundance baseline became unshakable. What if you started giving before you felt like you had enough? Not recklessly, strategically. What if you treated generosity as an abundance practice instead of a luxury for when you're wealthy? What if circulation became your default instead of hoarding? The scarcity program says save until you feel safe. The abundance program says give until you feel overflowing. Different approach, different nervous system response, different result. Angela's generosity wasn't just financial. She gave introductions, gave advice, gave time, gave recognition, gave opportunities. Every form of giving reinforced the overflow program. Every act of generosity trained her nervous system that she had abundance to share. And the nervous system is obedient. It creates reality that matches the program. If you program scarcity through hoarding, you get scarcity. If you program abundance through giving, you get abundance. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Real scenario, real person, real transformation. Meet Daniel, marketing consultant, decent income, terrible scarcity programming. He was the person who would split dinner bills down to the penny, who would spend 45 minutes finding the cheapest gas station to save 30 cents, who would decline coffee meetups because $4 felt wasteful. His time was worth $100 per hour, but he'd waste an hour to save $4. The scarcity math didn't math. Daniel's friend invited him to a charity fundraiser. Ticket price was $200. His immediate response was no, too expensive, not in the budget. Can't justify it. His friend pushed back. You make good money. It's for a cause you care about. You'll meet interesting people. Still no, the scarcity program wouldn't allow it. $200 for an event with no guaranteed ROI felt reckless. His friend said something that landed. When was the last time you spent money on something that made you feel abundant instead of anxious? Daniel couldn't answer. Every purchase was calculated, justified, minimized. Even necessary ones came with guilt. Even small ones triggered scarcity thoughts. He was making $70,000 per year and living like someone making 30, not because he had to, because his program required it. He bought the ticket, forced himself, felt sick about it for 3 days leading up to the event. $200 could have been groceries, could have been savings, could have been anything responsible. His scarcity program ran disaster scenarios on repeat. At the event, he met someone. Casual conversation, exchanged business cards. Forgot about it. 2 weeks later, that person called. Needed marketing help. Big project. $28,000 contract from a $200 ticket. The circulation worked. But here's what actually transformed Daniel. Not the $28,000. The feeling. At the event, surrounded by people who gave freely, who spent easily, who operated from overflow, his nervous system felt different, relaxed, open, abundant. For 3 hours he wasn't gripping, wasn't calculating, wasn't in scarcity mode. He felt what abundance feels like, and his brain wanted more of that feeling. He started the micro-giving practice. Every day, give something small. Day 1. Bought coffee for the person behind him in line. $4. His scarcity program screamed wasteful. His abundance program whispered generous. He chose generous. Noticed how it felt. Expansive, light, overflow. Day 2. Left a 50% tip on lunch. $8. Scarcity screamed again. Abundance whispered again. He chose abundance again. The feeling strengthened. Day 3. Sent $20 to a creator whose content he valued. Scarcity said you don't owe them anything. Abundance said you have overflow to share. Day 4. Paid for a friend's parking meter. $2. Tiny amount. Huge program shift. Day 5. Donated $10 to a cause he scrolled past. Day 6. Bought flowers for his assistant. Day 7. Gave his Uber driver a $20 tip. 7 days. 7 small overflow actions. 7 times choosing abundance over scarcity. The cumulative effect was neurological. Each small act of generosity reinforced the abundance program. Each choice to give weakened the scarcity grip. His nervous system started associating money with flow instead of fear, with circulation instead of constriction, with overflow instead of lack. The micro-giving wasn't about the amounts. It was about the repetition, the practice, the installation. By day 30, Daniel's relationship with money had shifted. Not his bank account, his nervous system. He didn't panic over small expenses anymore. Didn't grip money with white knuckles. Didn't calculate everything to death. He operated from overflow. And operating from overflow created actual overflow. 3 new clients in 30 days. All referrals, all premium pricing. His income jumped 23% in 1 month. The circulation worked because his program allowed circulation. The strategic giving practice has specific mechanics worth understanding deeply. It's not random generosity, it's targeted programming. You're using giving to train your nervous system out of scarcity and into abundance. Every act of giving is a message to your brain. The message is simple. I have overflow. I have enough to share. I operate from abundance. The brain receives this message, adjusts accordingly, creates reality that matches. Most people give backwards. They wait until they feel abundant to give. But abundance is a program, not a feeling. You don't wait for the program to install itself. You install it through behavior. Giving creates the abundance feeling. The abundance feeling reinforces abundance thinking. Abundance thinking drives abundance behavior. Abundance behavior produces abundance results. The results prove the program works. The proof strengthens the program. It's a positive loop, but it starts with giving, not waiting. Now we're at the installation phase. The final protocol. The new baseline. Everything you've learned so far is data, information, insight. But information isn't transformation. Installation is transformation. Taking the new programming and making it default, making it automatic, making it your new operating system. This is where most people fail. They learn, they understand, they agree, but they never install. They go back to default scarcity programming because installation requires consistent practice. The new default installation has 3 phases: awareness, interrupt, replace. You've been practicing awareness throughout this audiobook, catching scarcity thoughts, noticing rejection patterns, seeing receiving gaps, identifying inherited trauma. Awareness is the foundation. You can't change what you can't see. Phase 1 is becoming conscious of the old program running, seeing it clearly, recognizing it instantly, not judging it, just observing it. Phase 2 is interrupt. The moment you catch the old program running, you pause. You don't follow it. You don't execute its instructions. You don't let it run automatically. You interrupt. Stop. Pause. Create space between stimulus and response. This is the gap where transformation happens. The old program says respond immediately. The new program says pause and choose. The interrupt is the glitch, the crack in the matrix. The moment free will enters. Phase 3 is replace. In the pause, you choose new behavior, not randomly, deliberately, aligned with abundance instead of scarcity. If the old program says reject the compliment, the new behavior is receive it. If the old program says undercharge, the new behavior is price for value. If the old program says hoard, the new behavior is circulate. If the old program says chase, the new behavior is overflow. Every replacement is a neural pathway strengthening. Every new choice is code being written. Do this enough times and it becomes automatic. The new program installs, the new baseline establishes. The new default operates. You stop having to think about it. You stop having to force it. It just runs. Like breathing. Like walking. Like any other automated system. Your abundance operating system becomes as natural as your scarcity operating system used to be. Same mechanism, different code. The 90-day installation intensive is the complete transformation path. Not 21 days, 90. because real rewiring takes longer than motivation lasts. 21 days builds the pathway. 90 days makes it permanent. The brain needs 3 months of consistent practice to fully establish new default programming. Shorter programs create temporary shifts. 90 days creates lasting transformation. Let me walk you through the complete 90-day protocol. Day by day, week by week, month by month. This is the exact installation sequence that transforms scarcity programming into abundance operating system. This is what Sarah, Marcus, James, Lisa, David, Rachel, Tom, Jennifer, Carlos, Kim, Michael, and Angela all did. Different timelines, same protocol, same transformation. Week 1, days 1 through 7. Foundation building. Your only job this week is awareness. Track every scarcity thought, document every fear-based money decision, notice every abundance rejection, record every overflow deflection. You're not changing anything yet, just seeing, building consciousness, making the invisible visible. Get a notebook, physical, not digital, something you can carry everywhere. Every time you catch a scarcity thought, write it down. Time, situation, exact thought. How it felt, no judgment, just data. Day 1 will feel overwhelming. You'll catch maybe 5 scarcity thoughts. Feel proud, feel productive, but you're running hundreds. You just can't see them all yet. Day 2, you'll catch 8. Day 3, 12. By day 7, you'll be catching 20 to 30 per day. Not because you're getting worse, because you're getting better at seeing. The program was always running this frequently. You're just finally aware. Sample day 1 entry, 9:17 a.m. Checking email. Thought I should lower my rate to get this client. Felt tight in chest, anxious, familiar. This is scarcity programming. Write it exactly like that. Factual, neutral, observable. You're building your scarcity database, understanding your unique program. Everyone's installation is slightly different. Your awareness week reveals your specific patterns. By end of week 1, you'll have 100 to 200 scarcity thoughts documented. That feels discouraging to most people. I'm running scarcity that frequently? Yes, and that's exactly why your financial reality looks the way it does. The thoughts are creating it, but seeing them is the first step to changing them. You can't rewire what you can't observe. Week 1 makes observation possible. Week 2, days 8 through 14. The interrupt practice. Now you're catching scarcity thoughts in real time. This week you add the pause. Every time you catch one, stop. Don't follow the thought to automatic behavior. Don't execute its instruction. Just pause. 5 seconds minimum. Feel the space. Notice the gap. This is where free will lives. In the pause between trigger and response. Day 8. You'll pause maybe 3 times. It's hard. The momentum toward automatic behavior is strong. Your brain wants to follow the familiar pathway. Pausing feels unnatural, forced, weird. Do it anyway, even if you only pause for 2 seconds before executing the old behavior. The pause is the practice, the muscle you're building, the gap you're creating. Day 9. Pause 5 times. Day 10. Pause 8 times. By day 14, you're pausing 15 to 20 times per day. Every scarcity thought gets interrupted. Every automatic response gets space. The pathway is weakening. The pause is strengthening. You're creating room for new choice. The interrupt is installing. Sample day 10 entry, 2:14 p.m. Client asked my rate. Scarcity thought appeared. Lower it to guarantee booking. Paused. 5 seconds. Felt the urge to follow old program. Felt the familiar safety of undercharging. Paused anyway, then responded with full rate. Client said yes immediately. Old program was wrong. Pause worked. This is how the interrupt builds. Small moments, repeated daily. The pause seems insignificant. It's revolutionary. It's the difference between unconscious scarcity and conscious abundance. between automatic programming and deliberate choice, between being run by your mind and running your mind. Week 3, days 15 through 21, replacement activation. You're catching thoughts, you're pausing responses. Now you add new behavior. In the pause, choose abundance, execute different action, install new code. This is where transformation accelerates. The old pathway weakens from disuse. The new pathway strengthens from repetition. Start simple. 1 replacement per day, minimum. Day 15. Catch scarcity thought. Pause. Replace with 1 abundance action. Maybe it's accepting a compliment instead of deflecting. Maybe it's charging full rate instead of discounting. Maybe it's receiving help instead of refusing. 1 new behavior. 1 pathway brick. 1 installation moment. Day 16. 2 replacements. Day 17. 3 replacements. By day 21, you're executing 10 to 15 replacement behaviors daily. The abundance program is running alongside scarcity program. 2 systems. Same brain. Different instructions. The one you feed grows. The one you starve shrinks. You're feeding abundance, starving scarcity. The shift is happening. Real example. Day 19. Maya is installing her abundance program. She's a web designer. Client emails asking for rush project. Old program immediately calculates. Rush fee should be 50% extra. That's fair. Industry standard. Her fingers start typing the quote. Then she catches it. Pauses. Asks herself, am I pricing from value or from scarcity? Scarcity says 50% extra is enough. Abundance says rush projects disrupt my schedule, stress my capacity, and require premium compensation. What's the transformation worth? She deletes the 50% number, types 100% rush fee, double her normal rate. Her scarcity program screams, too much. They'll say no. You'll lose the project. You're being greedy. She sends it anyway. The replacement is complete. The abundance behavior is executed. Client responds in 20 minutes. Agreed. When can you start? The scarcity program was lying. Again, this is what replacement looks like. Catching old program. Pausing automatic response. Choosing new behavior aligned with abundance. Executing despite fear. Discovering the old program was wrong. Reinforcing new program with evidence. The loop starts running positive. The installation accelerates. Week 4 through week 8. Days 22 through 56. Intensive installation. You're now running all 3 phases simultaneously. Awareness, interrupt, replace. Multiple times per day. Every day. No breaks. No exceptions. This is the critical installation window, where temporary practice becomes permanent programming, where new pathways become superhighways, where abundance shifts from behavior to baseline. Daily target. Catch 15 scarcity thoughts minimum. Pause 12 times minimum. Execute 8 replacement behaviors minimum. This isn't easy. This is intensive. Transformation isn't passive. It's active practice. Deliberate rewiring. Consistent installation. The numbers matter because repetition creates permanence. You'll want to quit during this phase. Week 5 is typically the breaking point. The novelty wore off. The practice feels tedious. The results aren't dramatic enough. The old program looks appealing again. Comfortable. Familiar. Safe. This is exactly when most people revert. They had a good run, tried something new, but scarcity is calling them home. Don't go. This is the test. The installation crucible. Week 5 determines whether transformation sticks or scarcity reclaims you. Relapse-proofing protocol for week 5. When you want to quit, when the practice feels pointless, when scarcity looks reasonable again, execute this sequence. 1. Open your week 1 journal. Read your scarcity thoughts from day 1. See how automatic the program was. 2. Open your current journal. Compare. Notice the difference. Notice the progress. Notice the shift. 3. Review any abundance evidence that's appeared. New opportunities, unexpected income, improved relationships, changed internal experience. Proof the installation is working. 4. Commit to 7 more days, not 90, just 7. Recommit weekly. Makes the journey manageable. This protocol saved Nathan's installation. Nathan was a sales rep, 6 weeks into his abundance program, making progress, seeing shifts. Then week 5 hit. He was tired. The practice felt forced. His scarcity friends were making jokes about his new age abundance nonsense. His old program whispered, "See, this isn't real. You're pretending. Just go back to normal." He almost did. Instead, he ran the relapse protocol, opened his day 1 journal, rid his scarcity thoughts. They were vicious, constant, relentless. Then opened his day 38 journal. The difference was staggering. Scarcity thoughts had decreased by 60%. The ones that remained were weaker, easier to catch, less automatic. The progress was undeniable. He'd been so focused on the practice, he hadn't noticed the transformation happening. Then he reviewed his abundance evidence. 3 new clients since starting the program, all premium pricing. 1 promotion at his day job, 2 unexpected commission checks, 1 referral bonus. His income had increased 28% in 6 weeks, but he'd been so in his head about the practice that he'd missed the results. The evidence was overwhelming. The installation was working. He committed to 7 more days, then 7 more, then 7 more. Made it through week 5. The installation held. Week 9 through week 12. Days 57 through 84. Integration phase. The practice is becoming natural now. Less forced, more automatic. You're not thinking as hard. You're just doing. Catching. Pausing. Replacing. The abundance program is strengthening. The scarcity program is fading. Not gone, but quieter. Weaker. Less controlling. You're in the integration window where new becomes normal. Daily practice shifts slightly. You're still catching thoughts, still pausing, still replacing, but the frequency is different. You're not looking for scarcity thoughts. They're just appearing less. When they do, the catch is instant. The pause is automatic. The replacement is natural. It's flowing now, not forced. The installation is taking hold. This is also the testing phase. Life will throw situations designed to pull you back to scarcity. Unexpected expenses, client cancellations, income dips, relationship stress. These aren't punishment. They are installation tests. Will the new program hold under pressure? Or will you revert to default when stakes are high? The tests determine installation strength. Patricia faced her test on day 63. Graphic designer. Abundance program installing nicely. Then her biggest client canceled their retainer. $3,000 monthly income. Gone. Immediate. Unexpected. Her scarcity program roared back to life. See, abundance is fantasy. Scarcity is reality. You should have saved more. Should have protected yourself. Should have never trusted overflow. The fear was massive. The pull to scarcity was gravitational. She almost reverted. Almost. Instead, she paused, ran her protocol, asked herself, is this actually disaster, or is this old program catastrophizing? The facts were clear. She lost $3,000 monthly. She had 2 months reserves. She had other clients. She had skills. She had options. Not ideal, but not disaster. The scarcity program was amplifying threat. The abundance program could handle reality. She chose abundance response. Instead of panicking, she reached out to her network. Instead of slashing rates to grab any client, she maintained her value pricing. Instead of hoarding, she kept her giving practice active. Instead of contracting, she stayed in overflow. Within 11 days, 2 new clients appeared. Combined monthly value, $4,200. More than she'd lost. The abundance program worked under pressure. The installation held during testing. These tests are critical. They prove the program to your nervous system. Show it that abundance operates even when circumstances shift. Validate that the new programming works in real-world conditions. Every test you pass with abundance behavior strengthens the installation. Every test you fail by reverting to scarcity weakens it. The tests matter. How you respond to them matters more. Final phase. Days 85 through 90. Lock in and baseline shift. You're not installing anymore. You're confirming. The abundance program is running, mostly automatic, occasionally requiring conscious choice, but generally operating as default. Scarcity thoughts still appear, but they're background noise. Not commands, not controllers, just old programming trying to assert relevance. You notice them. Dismiss them. Continue with abundance. This final week is about recognition and commitment. Recognizing how far you've come, how much has shifted, how different your internal and external reality is compared to day one, and committing to maintenance. The installation is complete, but maintenance is forever. Abundance programming, like any program, needs care, attention, reinforcement. Without maintenance, old defaults can creep back. Day 90, protocol. Full assessment. Compare day 1 to day 90 journal entries, thought patterns, behavioral choices, financial results, relationship quality, internal experience. Document everything. Make the transformation visible. Your brain needs to see the proof, needs to recognize the shift, needs evidence that the installation worked. Then create your maintenance plan. How will you keep the abundance program strong? Daily practices, weekly reviews, monthly check-ins, quarterly assessments, annual intensive refreshers. The specifics don't matter as much as the commitment. You're not going back to unconscious scarcity. You're maintaining conscious abundance. The plan makes that commitment real. Let me give you the exact 90-day practice scripts. These are the daily protocols that install abundance programming. Read them, use them, follow them exactly. They work because they're designed around how neural pathways form, how habits install, how programs become default. This isn't theory. This is tested transformation technology. Morning practice. 5 minutes, every morning. Non-negotiable. Before checking phone. Before email. Before the day's demands activate scarcity programming. 5 minutes to set your abundance baseline. Here's the script. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself these questions. What abundance evidence appeared yesterday? Find 3 pieces. Small counts. Coffee was good. Friend texted. Sun came up. Train your brain to see abundance constantly. Write them down. Next question. What scarcity thought will likely appear today? Anticipate it. Know your program. Maybe it's the client meeting where you'll want to undercharge. Maybe it's the expense that'll trigger panic. Maybe it's the opportunity you'll want to reject. Anticipate the thought. Then decide your replacement behavior now. Before the moment, before the heat, before the automatic program runs. Decide abundance response in advance. Last question. What one overflow action will I execute today? Choose now. Commit now. Maybe it's accepting a compliment. Maybe it's charging full rate. Maybe it's giving something. Maybe it's receiving help. One action. Predetermined. Committed. This removes decision fatigue when the moment arrives. You already chose. You just execute. 5 minutes, 3 questions. Abundance evidence from yesterday. Anticipated scarcity thought with predetermined replacement. One committed overflow action. This morning practice sets your abundance frequency before scarcity has a chance to dominate. It's installation prevention. It keeps the new program running from first thought of the day. Midday practice. 2 minutes. Noon or thereabout. Quick recalibration. The Morning intention fades. The day's stress accumulates. Scarcity programming tries to reassert. The midday practice interrupts that drift. Here's the script. Pause whatever you're doing. Take one deep breath. Ask yourself one question. Am I operating from scarcity or abundance right now? Honest answer. No judgment, just awareness. If scarcity, identify it. What thought is running? What fear is active? What constriction is present? See it clearly. Then choose one micro-abundance action. Take one deep breath and relax your shoulders. That's choosing abundance over scarcity tension. Send one appreciative text to someone. That's choosing overflow over isolation. Charge full rate on the next thing you price. That's choosing value over fear. One microaction resets your frequency. If abundance, celebrate it, notice it, reinforce it. You're operating from overflow. Your program is running correctly. Acknowledge that. Let your nervous system register success. This positive reinforcement strengthens the abundance pathways, makes them more likely to fire again. 2 minutes, one question, one action, keeps the installation active during your day. Evening practice, 10 minutes. Before bed, installation review and integration. The day happened. Scarcity thoughts appeared. Some you caught, some you missed, some you replaced, some you followed. The evening practice processes it all, extracts the lessons, reinforces the wins, corrects the misses. Here's the script. Get your journal. Review your day through the abundance lens. Question 1. How many scarcity thoughts did I catch today? Count them. Write the number. Track progress over time. You want this number increasing in week 1 as awareness builds, then decreasing from week 4 onward. As the program weakens, the trajectory matters. Question 2. How many times did I pause instead of following automatic scarcity behavior? Count them. Write them. Celebrate them. Each pause is a win. Question 3. How many replacement behaviors did I execute? Count them. Write them. Be specific. What did you replace? What was the old program instruction? What was the new abundance choice? The specificity reinforces the new pathway. Your brain learns from detailed review. Question 4. What abundance evidence appeared today? Find 5 pieces minimum. Force your brain to hunt for abundance. Client email, unexpected discount, green lights on commute, good conversation, helpful article, comfortable bed, working electricity. The evidence is everywhere. You're training your reticular activating system to find it. Question 5. What's one scarcity pattern I notice recurring? Maybe you always undercharge a specific client type. Maybe you deflect compliments from certain people. Maybe you panic about particular expense categories. Identify the pattern. Name it. Patterns you can see, you can change. Patterns hidden in unconscious automation run forever. Last question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how abundant did I feel? Today, rate it. Track it over 90 days. You want the number trending upward. Not perfectly, not linearly, but generally upward. This subjective measure matters. Abundance isn't just about money. It's about internal experience. You're tracking the feeling shift alongside the behavioral shift. 10 minutes, 6 questions. Daily review that builds awareness, reinforces wins, identifies patterns, and tracks transformation. This evening practice is where conscious competence becomes unconscious competence, where deliberate practice becomes automatic programming, where installation becomes baseline. Weekly practice, Sunday evening or Monday morning, 30 minutes. Higher level review. The daily practices handle tactical installation. The weekly practice handles strategic assessment. You're zooming out, seeing patterns across 7 days, adjusting approach, reinforcing what works, correcting what doesn't. Here's the script. Review all 7 daily journal entries. Read them completely. Notice patterns. What scarcity thoughts appeared multiple times? That's your primary program. What you're working against? What replacement behaviors worked best? That's your leverage. What you should do more of? What abundance evidence showed up most frequently? That's your natural overflow channel. What you should amplify. Calculate your weekly metrics. Total scarcity thoughts caught. Total pauses executed. Total replacement behaviors. Total abundance evidence pieces. Plug these into the tracking sheet. Watch the trends. Are scarcity thoughts decreasing? Are replacements increasing? Is evidence accumulating? The numbers tell the installation story. They don't lie. Identify your biggest win of the week. One moment where you chose abundance despite massive scarcity pressure. One replacement that felt impossible, but you did it anyway. One pause that changed an outcome. Find it, write it in detail, celebrate it thoroughly. Your brain learns from celebrated wins more than from criticized failures. Make your wins loud, your misses quiet. Identify your biggest challenge of the week. One moment where scarcity won, where you reverted to old program despite knowing better, where fear overpowered choice. Write it factually. No shame, no judgment, just observation. Then write the abundance response you wish you'd chosen. Install it now. Next time this situation appears, you have the replacement ready. Set 3 specific intentions for next week. Based on patterns you noticed, based on challenges you faced, based on wins you want to repeat. Make them concrete, measurable, achievable. Not I'll be more abundant. That's vague. Instead, I'll pause before every pricing decision. I'll accept all compliments without deflecting. I'll give $20 to 3 different people or causes. Specific, concrete, doable, 30 minutes, pattern recognition, metric tracking, win celebration, challenge analysis, intention setting. The weekly practice keeps your installation strategic, prevents drift, ensures progress, maintains momentum. This is where transformation becomes systematic instead of random. Monthly practice. Last day of each month. 90 minutes. Deep assessment and recalibration. You're checking installation strength. Measuring transformation depth. Adjusting strategy. Planning next month. This is your installation health check. Here's the script. Block 90 minutes. No interruptions. No phone. No distractions. This is transformation time. Read all your daily journals from the month. Notice evolution. Your day 1 entries versus day 30 entries. Different thoughts. Different struggles. Different wins. The progression is obvious when you read it concentrated. Your transformation is visible when you're not living it one day at a time. Calculate monthly metrics. Compare to previous month if you have it. Total scarcity thoughts. Trend up or down, total replacements. Trend up or down, abundance evidence pieces. Trend up or down. These numbers show installation strength. If scarcity is decreasing and replacements increasing and evidence growing, installation is working. If not, something needs adjustment, financial reality check. Compare your income, opportunities, and financial stress this month versus last month versus 3 months ago if you're that far in. Has anything shifted? New clients? Better pricing? Unexpected money? Reduced anxiety? The external reality lags the internal program, but it does shift. Track it. Notice it. Use it as evidence. Identify your installation obstacles. What's blocking faster transformation? Maybe you're inconsistent with daily practice. Maybe you're avoiding certain scarcity patterns. Maybe you're not pushing hard enough on replacements. Maybe your environment is too scarcity saturated. Find the obstacle. Name it. Create a plan to address it next month. Identify your installation accelerators. What's working exceptionally well? Maybe the morning practice really sets your day right. Maybe the giving protocol creates immediate evidence. Maybe certain replacements feel natural and powerful. Double down on what works. Do more of your accelerators, less of your obstacles. Create next month's focus. Based on your assessment, maybe month 1 was about awareness. Month 2 is about pausing. Month 3 is about replacement intensity. Month 4 is about specific pattern elimination. Each month has a focus, a primary installation target. This keeps your practice evolving, prevents plateau. 90 minutes monthly. Deep review. Metric analysis. Reality check. Obstacle identification. Accelerator amplification. Focus setting. This is your transformation audit. Ensures installation is on track. Catches problems early. Maximizes progress. Now let me give you the relapse proofing plan, the complete protocol for when scarcity tries to reclaim you. Because it will try. Old programming doesn't die easily. It goes quiet, waits for vulnerability, then rushes back with familiar comfort and urgent warnings and seemingly rational arguments. You need a defense system? Here it is. Relapse warning signs. Learn to recognize them early. Sign 1. You start skipping daily practices. Miss 1 morning practice, then 2. Then it becomes optional. That's scarcity reclaiming time. Sign 2. You stop tracking. The journal feels tedious. The metrics feel pointless. You'll just remember the important stuff. That's scarcity eliminating accountability. Sign 3. You justify scarcity decisions. That undercharge was strategic. That deflection was humble. That hoarding was responsible. That's scarcity rebuilding narrative control. Sign 4. You avoid abundance people. That mastermind feels expensive. That networking event feels unnecessary. That abundant friend feels intimidating. That's scarcity protecting itself from contradictory input. Sign 5. Your self-talk shifts. You catch yourself thinking maybe this abundant stuff was naive. Maybe scarcity is just realistic. Maybe I was fooling myself. That's scarcity reclaiming cognitive territory. When you notice any of these signs, immediate intervention required. Don't wait. Don't rationalize. Don't negotiate. Execute the relapse proofing protocol. Step 1. Acknowledge the relapse attempt. Say it out loud. My scarcity programming is trying to reclaim me. Acknowledgement removes its stealth advantage. Scarcity operates best in unconsciousness. Bring it to light. Step 2. Review your transformation evidence. Open your journal. Read your biggest wins. Look at your metrics. See how far you've come. Remind your brain what's at stake. Relapse means losing progress, losing transformation, losing the new reality you've built. The evidence makes continuation worth it. Step 3. Execute one abundance action immediately. Not tomorrow. Now. Give something. Receive something. Price something at full value. Accept a compliment. Whatever abundance behavior you've been avoiding. Do it now. Break the scarcity momentum with overflow action. Reset your frequency through behavior. Step 4. Reconnect with abundant sources. Call your most abundant friend. Listen to abundance content. Read abundance books. Attend abundance events. Immerse yourself in the frequency you want to maintain. Proximity matters. Scarcity, isolation enables relapse. Abundance connection prevents it. Step 5. Recommit to practice. Not for 90 days. For 7. Commit to 7 solid days of morning practice, midday reset, evening review. Weekly assessment. Get back on protocol. The practice is the path. When you leave the path, you lose the way. Get back on it. This relapse-proofing protocol saved countless installations. It saved mine multiple times because scarcity is persistent. It's familiar. It's comfortable. It promises safety. The pull is real. The protocol gives you a counter move, a defense, A way back when you drift. The micro challenges are your daily installation boosters. Small actions that train abundance. Programming through repetition. Here's your 90-day micro challenge sequence. 1 per day, executed without fail. These aren't optional. They're not suggestions. They're installation requirements. Days 1 through 10. Awareness micro challenges. Day 1. Catch 5 scarcity thoughts. Write them down. Day 2. Notice 3 moments where you felt financial anxiety. Name the trigger. Day 3. Identify 1 inherited money belief. Trace it to source. Day 4. Track every money decision for 24 hours. All of them. Day 5. Find 3 examples of abundance you're currently ignoring. Make them visible. Day 6. Notice 1 receiving gap. When did you deflect, refuse, or minimize? Day 7. Catch yourself undercharging or over-delivering. Name it. Day 8. Identify your biggest money fear. Write it in detail. Day 9. Notice 1 moment of overflow. When did you feel abundant? What created it? Day 10. Review all 9 days. Find the dominant pattern. Days 11 through 30. Interrupt micro challenges. Day 11. Pause before 3 scarcity-driven decisions. Day 12. Interrupt 1 automatic undercharge. Day 13. Stop yourself from deflecting 2 compliments. Day 14. Pause before explaining why you can't afford something. Day 15. Interrupt 1 comparison-based pricing decision. Day 16. Stop yourself from talking a client into paying less. Day 17. Pause before declining help that's offered. Day 18. Interrupt 1 impulsive attempt to reciprocate a gift immediately. Day 19. Stop yourself from justifying a scarcity choice. Day 20. Pause before checking your bank account from anxiety rather than awareness. Continue this pattern. Each micro-challenge targets a specific scarcity behavior, makes you pause it, interrupt it, create space around it. The challenges seem small. They're revolutionary. Each one weakens automatic scarcity. Each one strengthens conscious choice. Days 31 through 60. Replacement micro-challenges. Day 31. Accept 1 compliment without deflecting. Just say thank you. Day 32. Charge full rate on 1 thing you'd normally discount. Day 33. Give $5 to someone or something. Practice overflow. Day 34. Receive help that's offered. Let it in completely. Day 35. Price 1 thing based on transformation instead of time. Day 36. Share an abundance win with someone. Reinforce it through declaration. Day 37. Decline 1 opportunity that feels like scarcity chase. Day 38. Say yes to 1 opportunity that feels like abundance overflow. Day 39. Spend money on something that makes you feel abundant. No justification required. The replacement challenges install new behaviors, 1 per day. 90 different ways to choose abundance over scarcity. 90 pathway building exercises. 90 installation moments. By day 90, you've practiced 90 distinct abundance behaviors. The program is comprehensive. The installation is deep. Days 61 through 90. Integration micro challenges. These combine awareness, interrupt, and replace. Day 61. Full abundance cycle on 1 decision. Catch the scarcity thought. Pause the automatic behavior. Choose and execute abundance response. Day 62. Abundance audit. Count how many times you operated from overflow today. Day 63. Teach someone 1 abundance principle you've learned. Teaching installs it deeper. Day 64. Celebrate 1 abundance win loudly. Tell 3 people. Day 65. Give strategically. Choose cause aligned with values. Execute overflow. Day 66. Receive without immediately reciprocating. Practice pure receiving. Continue through day 90. Each challenge reinforces the installation. Each completion strengthens the program. By day 90, you've completed 90 micro-challenges, 90 proof points that you can choose abundance, 90 pieces of evidence that the new program works, 90 installation confirmations. Here's the truth about installation. It's simple but not easy. The practices are straightforward. The execution is challenging. Your scarcity program will resist. Your nervous system will protest. Your environment will question. Your old identity will fight for survival. This is normal. This is expected. This is part of transformation. The people who complete the 90 days successfully have one thing in common. They committed to the process more than the outcome. They showed up to practice whether they felt abundant or not, whether results appeared or not, whether it made sense or not. They trusted the installation process, followed the protocol, did the work. The transformation was inevitable once the practice was consistent. The people who quit had understandable reasons. Too busy, too stressed, too skeptical, too impatient, too focused on immediate results instead of foundational rewiring. They wanted abundance without installation, results without practice, transformation without effort. It doesn't work that way. Never has, never will. The program installs through repetition, period. You're at the choice point now. Install or stay default. Transform or stay comfortable. Abundance or scarcity. The choice is yours. But understand what you're choosing. Staying with scarcity isn't neutral. It's not just maintaining status quo. It's choosing limitation, choosing fear, choosing the same financial anxiety, the same income ceiling, the same opportunity blindness you've been living with. Default scarcity is a choice, not a non-choice. Installing abundance is also a choice. It's choosing discomfort for growth, choosing unfamiliar for expansive, choosing practice over plateau. It's work, real work, daily work, but it's work that transforms everything. Your thoughts, your decisions, your results, your reality. The work is worth it. The transformation proves it. Final installation truth. You won't feel ready. Ever. Ready is a scarcity concept. Abundance acts before feeling ready. You have everything you need right now. The protocols, the practices, the micro-challenges, the relapse proofing, the evidence, the examples, the complete installation manual. You don't need more information. You need implementation. Start now. Here's what shifts when the new program is installed. Opportunities look different. Before, you filtered them as threats. Now you recognize them as possibilities. Money feels different. Before, it triggered anxiety. Now it triggers calm. Decisions feel different. Before, they were made from fear. Now they're made from alignment. Your nervous system feels different. Before, it was tight. Now it's relaxed. Not because life changed, because your program changed. Sarah is 18 months into her new program. Her income is stable at $18,000 per month. Not because she works harder, because her program operates differently. Scarcity thoughts still appear, but they don't run automatically. She catches them, interrupts them, replaces them. The practice is second nature now. Her new baseline is abundance. Her old baseline was scarcity. Same person, different operating system, different reality. Let me show you exactly how Sarah's daily reality changed. Not the highlight reel, the actual day-to-day experience. Because that's where transformation lives. In the ordinary moments, the routine decisions, the automatic thoughts. Morning used to start with anxiety. Check bank account from fear. Calculate what's left. Panic about what's coming. Plan scarcity strategies. Every single morning. Same pattern, different numbers, same fear. Now, morning starts with the abundance practice. 5 minutes, 3 questions. Abundance evidence from yesterday. Anticipated scarcity thought with predetermined replacement. 1 committed overflow action. This sets her frequency before scarcity can activate. Her nervous system starts the day calm instead of constricted. Her first thoughts are gratitude instead of lack. Her energy is expansive instead of defensive. Client interactions used to trigger immediate underpricing calculations. How low can I go and still pay bills? What discount will guarantee they say yes? How can I make this easy for them to afford? Every quote was negotiated before she even sent it. Every price was defensive. Every proposal assumed rejection. The scarcity program ran pricing. She just executed its instructions. Now, client inquiry triggers value assessment. What transformation will this create? What's that worth? What's my full rate? The question shifted from what's the minimum I can charge to what's the value I'm delivering. Same clients, different question, different pricing, different results. Her average project fee increased from $1,200 to $4,800. Same work, different program. Unexpected expenses used to trigger full panic. Car repair, medical bill, home maintenance, anything unplanned activated. Disaster thinking. I can't afford this. This ruins everything. Why does this always happen to me? The expense wasn't just an expense. It was confirmation that scarcity was real and abundance was fantasy. Evidence that she'd never get ahead. Proof that lack was her destiny. Now, unexpected expense triggers neutral assessment. What's the cost? Do I have it? If yes, handle it and move on. If no, what's the solution? The expense is data, not identity, not destiny, not evidence of permanent lack, just information requiring a decision. Her nervous system stays calm. Her thinking stays clear. Her abundance program processes the situation without catastrophizing it. Money coming in used to create strange anxiety. Will it last? Is this a fluke? Should I grab everything I can now before it dries up? Even good financial news triggered scarcity thinking. She couldn't enjoy windfalls because her program said they were temporary. Couldn't celebrate raises because her program said they'd disappear. Couldn't relax into abundance because her program insisted scarcity was inevitable. Now, money coming in triggers gratitude and circulation. Evidence abundance is operating. Proof the program works. Opportunity to give, receive, and overflow. She celebrates income, receives it fully, circulates it strategically. The tightness is gone, the grip is released, the flow is open. Same deposits, different reception, different experience. The shifts are everywhere once the program changes. How she talks about money used to be complaints, can't afford, too expensive, wish I could. All scarcity language, all limitation declaration, all abundance blocking vocabulary. Now, how can I afford this? What would it take? Let me find a way. All possibility language, all solution-seeking, all abundance-allowing vocabulary. The words changed because the program changed. The program changed because the practice installed it. How she feels in her body used to be tight, shoulders up, jaw clenched, chest constricted, breath shallow. The scarcity program lived in her nervous system, created physical tension, manifested as body armor. Every financial thought tightened the grip. Every money decision increased the pressure. Her body was a scarcity container. Now, relaxed, shoulders down, jaw soft, chest open, breath full. The abundance program lives in her nervous system differently, creates physical ease, manifests as body flow. Financial thoughts don't trigger tension. Money decisions don't activate armor. Her body is an abundance channel. The physical shift is as real as the mental one, maybe more real. The body doesn't lie about programming. How she sleeps. Used to be restless, waking at 3 a.m., running financial calculations, worst-case scenarios, disaster planning, sleep interrupted by scarcity anxiety, morning exhaustion from nighttime worry. The bedroom was a scarcity war room. Her mind wouldn't rest because her program wouldn't stop. Now, deep sleep, full rest, occasional, 3 a.m. wake-up, but different quality. If financial thoughts appear, they're neutral, factual, non-threatening. The panic is gone. The catastrophizing stopped. Her program allows rest. Her nervous system trusts enough to sleep. The bedroom is a restoration space. Her mind rests because her program permits it. These shifts are what transformation looks like. Not just bigger bank account. Different internal experience. Not just more money. Different relationship with money. Not just increased income. Decreased anxiety. The external results matter. The internal shifts matter more. Because internal programming creates external reality. Always. Without exception. Marcus has been running abundance programming for 2 years. His transformation went deeper than financial. It went generational. He broke a family curse that ran 3 generations. His grandmother grew up in the Depression, installed scarcity programming that she passed to his mother, who passed it to him. 3 generations of the same fear, the same limitation, the same financial anxiety, until Marcus interrupted it. The interruption started with a conversation. Hard conversation. Necessary conversation. He told his mother about his abundance practice. She reacted exactly as his scarcity program predicted. That's not realistic, Marcus. Money doesn't work that way. You need to be more careful, more conservative, more afraid. She was running her program, trying to download it to him. Protection disguised as wisdom, fear disguised as love. Instead of downloading it, Marcus asked questions. Mom, what's your earliest memory of money? She paused, remembered. Her mother crying over bills, her father working himself to exhaustion, the constant fear that everything would be lost, the Depression-era terror that never left, even when the Depression ended. That memory became her mother's program. That program became Marcus's inheritance. He asked another question. Did that fear help you or hurt you? His mother sat with it, really sat with it, then admitted something she'd never said out loud. It hurt more than it helped, made me afraid to take opportunities, afraid to invest in myself, afraid to believe things could be different. I passed the same fear to you, thinking I was protecting you. Instead, I was limiting you. That admission changed everything, not just for Marcus, for his mother, for their family line. She started questioning her own program, started noticing her scarcity thoughts, started catching her automatic fear responses. At 72 years old, she began her own abundance installation, not through formal practice, through awareness, through choice, through willingness to question programming she'd run for 7 decades. Marcus's children are growing up with different money conversations, different money modeling, different money programming. They see their father operate from abundance, price based on value, give from overflow, receive without guilt, make decisions from possibility instead of fear. They're downloading abundance as their baseline. The curse is broken. The new legacy is installing. 3 generations of scarcity stopped. New generations of abundance beginning. This is what transformation does. It doesn't just change you. It changes your lineage. The programming you break doesn't get passed forward. The programming you install becomes the inheritance. Your children don't have to unlearn what you learned to dismantle. They start from abundance baseline. This is generational wealth. Not just money, consciousness, programming, freedom. James left his bartending job 18 months after starting his installation. The transition was natural, not forced, not fearful. His consulting income had surpassed his bartending income for 3 consecutive months. His calendar was full 6 weeks out. His pricing was confident. His clients were ideal. The math said leave. His program said trust. He gave notice, walked away from the safety of employment into the uncertainty of entrepreneurship. The old program would have called it reckless. The new program called it aligned. First month as full-time entrepreneur, he made $11,000. Second month, 14,000. Third month, 9,000. The dip triggered his old program briefly. See? This is why you stay employed. This is why you don't trust abundance. This is why safety matters more than possibility. The fear was loud. The pull to scarcity was strong. He almost applied for jobs. Instead, he ran his relapse protocol, paused, reviewed his evidence. The $9,000 month wasn't disaster. It was variance. His 3-month average was still $11,000, higher than his bartending income ever was. The dip was data, not disaster. Information, not identity. He stayed the course. Month 4 brought $16,000. Month 5 brought $18,000. The abundance program was right. The scarcity program was lying. 2 years in, James runs a 6-figure consulting business. He works 25 hours per week, takes Fridays off, travels frequently, has savings, has investments, has overflow. But the real transformation isn't the numbers. It's the internal experience. He doesn't panic anymore, doesn't grip, doesn't operate from fear. His baseline is abundance. His default is trust. His program runs overflow. He still catches scarcity thoughts. They haven't disappeared completely. Probably never will. But they don't run the show. They appear. He notices them, dismisses them, continues with abundance. They're background noise, not commands. Suggestions he declines. The power dynamic shifted. Scarcity used to control him. Now he controls scarcity by choosing not to follow it. Lisa teaches evidence-based appreciation now. Her journal practice became her business. She created a course, wrote a book, built a community, helps thousands of people install abundance programming. Her transformation became her offering. Her overflow found its expression. And the business, $250,000 in revenue first year. Abundance program works in multiple dimensions. The teaching deepened her installation. Every time she explains the program, she reinforces it in herself. Every time she guides someone through the practice, she strengthens her own pathways. Every time she witnesses someone's transformation, she validates her own. Teaching became her ultimate abundance practice. The more she gives the knowledge away, the more abundant she becomes. Overflow in perfect operation. Her students report similar transformations. Average income increase of 37% in first 90 days. Not because the practice is magic, because the programming changes. When programming changes, behavior changes. When behavior changes, results change. When results change, evidence accumulates. When evidence accumulates, programming strengthens. The loop runs positive. Compounding returns on installation investment. One student, Michael, started the practice making $43,000 per year. Graphic designer. Talented, underpaid, undervalued. Running classic scarcity program. After 90 days of evidence-based appreciation, he'd documented over 200 pieces of abundance evidence. His reticular activating system was retrained. His perception shifted. His opportunities multiplied. He raised his rates 40%. Expected to lose clients. Lost 2. Gained 5. All at the new rate. First month at new pricing brought in $6,800. More than he used to make in 2 months. By month 6, he was on track for $75,000 annually. By month 12, he crossed 6 figures. Same skills, different program, different reality. David receives easily now. The receiving gap is closed, not because he forced it, because he practiced it. The 30-day receiving protocol became his permanent operating system. Compliments land, help arrives, payment flows, gifts are received, opportunities are accepted, the deflection shield is down, the abundance channel is open. Last month, a colleague offered to introduce him to a potential 7-figure client. Old David would have deflected. "Oh, you don't have to do that. I don't want to bother you. Are you sure they'd be interested?" The receiving gap would have rejected the opportunity before it fully arrived. New David said thank you. Just that. Thank you. Received the introduction, took the meeting, landed the client. $200,000 contract. From receiving, without resistance. The receiving practice sounds simple. It is simple. But simple isn't easy when your program says receiving is dangerous, when your nervous system believes receiving creates obligation, when your identity thinks receiving means you're taking advantage. The practice requires override, conscious choice against automatic programming, daily repetition until new becomes normal. David's receiving practice had specific protocols. Accept every compliment offered. No deflection, no minimization, no reciprocation requirement. Just receive and say thank you. Week 1 was excruciating. 17 compliments deflected before he caught himself. Week 2, 9 deflections. Week 4, 2. Week 8, 0. The new pathway was installed. Receiving became automatic. Accept all help offered. No refusal. No, I got it. No, you don't have to. Just yes and thank you. First week he refused help 11 times before catching it. His independence programming was strong. Accepting help felt like weakness, like failure, like burden. But he practiced anyway. By week 6, accepting help felt natural. By week 12, he was actively asking for help. The receiving gap wasn't just closed, it was reversed into overflow. Charge full rate, without justification. No discounts, no apologies, no explanations. Just state the price and pause. Let them respond. Stop preemptively negotiating. Stop talking yourself down. Stop making it easy for them to say no. The value mirror practice. Price transformation, not time. His rates tripled in 6 months. Client quality increased. Project satisfaction increased. Income increased. Because receiving full compensation became normal instead of uncomfortable. These receiving protocols work because they directly address the gap, the space between what's offered and what's allowed in. Most people have a massive gap. Abundance tries to reach them. They block it at the door, automatically, unconsciously, habitually. The protocols make the blocking conscious, then replace it with receiving. The gap closes. The flow opens. The abundance that was always trying to reach you finally gets through. Rachel's photography business crossed 7 figures, 18 months after starting her abundance-proof journal. The pattern recognition she developed became her competitive advantage. She knew exactly which marketing created which results, which client source generated which value, which projects produced which referrals. Her business ran on data, not hope, on evidence, not assumption, on patterns, not luck. The journal revealed things she'd never have seen otherwise. 92% of her inquiries came between Tuesday and Thursday. She shifted her marketing to hit Monday. Inquiries Tuesday through Thursday increased 38%. Pure pattern application. 73% of her bookings came from 2 specific vendor relationships. She deepened those relationships, brought them coffee weekly, sent them referrals, showed up at their events. Bookings from those sources doubled. Pure pattern leverage. Her most profitable projects all shared 3 characteristics: corporate clients, brand work, tight deadlines. She started targeting only opportunities with those 3 elements, declined everything else. Her average project value increased from $4,000 to $12,000. Her profit margin increased because she wasn't wasting time on low-value work. Pure pattern optimization, the abundance. Proof Journal wasn't just mindset work. It was business intelligence, market research, strategic planning, decision-making framework. She treated her journal like a consultant would treat data, analyzed it, found patterns, applied insights, measured results, refined approach. The practice made her smarter about her business because it made her aware of what actually worked. Most business owners operate on hope and hustle. Hope that marketing works. Hustle to make something happen. No data, no patterns, no evidence, just effort and optimism. Rachel operated on proof, documented patterns, tested hypotheses, measured outcomes, applied learning. Her business grew faster because her intelligence grew faster. The journal was her edge. She teaches the practice now. Business owners implement it. Results follow. One client documented for 90 days, discovered 67% of revenue came from email marketing, shifted all energy to email. Revenue increased 41% in 90 days. Another client discovered his highest value customers all found him through podcast interviews. Did 20 more podcasts. Revenue doubled in 6 months. Pattern recognition creates leverage. The practice works across all business types. Service businesses find their ideal client patterns. Product businesses find their profitable channel patterns. Freelancers find their pricing sweet spot patterns. The patterns are always there. Most people just don't document consistently enough to see them. The journal makes them visible. Visible patterns become actionable intelligence. Tom's network is completely different now. His proximity shifted his programming. His programming shifted his behavior. His behavior shifted his results. He's in rooms where million-dollar ideas are Tuesday conversations, where equity and exits are normal, where abundance is baseline. His nervous system doesn't panic anymore. It mirrors. It syncs. It operates at frequency. The network shift happened systematically. He mapped his current 5 contacts. Average income, $48,000. Average mindset, scarcity. Average conversation, complaints. His proximity was programming him for limitation. He needed new proximity. He researched masterminds, found one with average member income over $200,000. Applied. Got accepted. Wrote the check. His scarcity program screamed about the cost. His abundance program recognized the investment. First mastermind meeting. His imposter syndrome was loud. These people are real entrepreneurs. You're just an employee with a side project. You don't belong here. His scarcity program trying to pull him back to familiar territory. He stayed anyway, listened, absorbed, mirrored. The conversation was different. The thinking was different. The expectations were different. People talked about building companies, not protecting jobs, about scaling revenue, not surviving paycheck to paycheck, about creating wealth, not managing scarcity. By meeting 3, his own language had shifted. He caught himself talking about his side project as a real business, discussing growth strategy instead of just hoping for clients, thinking about hiring instead of doing everything himself. The proximity was installing new programming. The new programming was creating new possibilities. The new possibilities were becoming new reality. 6 months in the mastermind, Tom had launched his startup full-time, raised initial capital, hired his first employee, landed his first major contract. None of it would have happened in his old proximity. His employee friends would have cautioned him. Too risky, too uncertain, too ambitious. Stay safe. Keep the job. Don't gamble. Their scarcity program protecting his scarcity program. The mastermind did the opposite. Encouraged launch, introduced investors, made connections, celebrated risk. Their abundance program elevating his abundance program. 18 months later, his startup was acquired. His equity share was $280,000. The proximity paid off, literally, but the real value wasn't the money. It was the permanent program shift. He thinks differently now, expects differently, operates differently, because he's around people who think, expect, and operate differently. The proximity code is permanent. His abundance program is locked in. The network mapping practice Tom teaches now is simple. List your 5 closest contacts, the people you talk to most, the voices in your head most often. For each one, assess 3 things: their financial reality, their predominant mindset, their typical conversation topics. This shows you your current programming environment. Then list 5 people at your target level. The proximity you want, the programming you need, the environment that will install abundance instead of reinforcing scarcity. Research where they are. Masterminds, conferences, communities, online groups, physical spaces. Find them. Get proximate. Intentionally, strategically, consistently. Proximity doesn't mean abandoning old friends. It means expanding your circle, adding new influence, balancing scarcity voices with abundance voices. Eventually, abundance voices become dominant. Your programming shifts. Your reality follows. The proximity code works because mirror neurons are real. Your brain syncs with its environment. Choose the environment. Choose the programming. Choose the result. Jennifer prices for transformation now. Every client engagement, she asks one question: what transformation will this create? If a strategy increases client revenue by $500,000 annually, her fee isn't based on hours. It's based on value. $25,000 for 90 days isn't expensive. It's cheap. The value mirror reflects accurately. Her pricing conversation changed completely. Old version went like this: my rate is $100 per hour. The project will take about 80 hours, so around $8,000 total. Does that work? Scarcity, pricing, time-based, apologetic, negotiable. New version goes like this. Based on your goals, this engagement will generate approximately $400,000 in new revenue annually. My fee for the 90-day intensive is $30,000. When would you like to start? Value pricing, transformation-based, confident, non-negotiable. Client reactions changed too. Time-based pricing attracted price shoppers. Can you do it for less? What if we cut some hours? Maybe we start smaller. Every conversation was negotiation. Every proposal was defended. Every fee was challenged. Exhausting, unsustainable. Scarcity breeding scarcity. Value-based pricing attracts value buyers. If you're confident, we'll generate $400,000. $30,000 is nothing. When can we start? What do you need from us? How do we ensure maximum results? Different questions. Different energy, different clients. These people want transformation. They're willing to pay for it. They respect expertise. They value results. Jennifer's income tripled first year after the shift, not because she worked 3 times more, because she charged for value instead of time. Same hours, different pricing model, different clients, different results. The value mirror works when you're brave enough to use it. The pricing shift requires internal shift first. You can't charge for transformation if you don't believe you deliver transformation. Jennifer had to document her client results, build evidence, prove value. One client increased revenue $1.2 million after her 90-day engagement. That's transformation. Worth 6 figures. She charged $30,000. Still underpriced, but better than $8,000. Another client cut operational costs by $300,000 annually. Transformation. Worth 6 figures. She charged $35,000. Getting closer. Another client achieved successful acquisition. Sale price $15 million. Her strategy work was instrumental. Worth 7 figures. She charged $50,000. Still underpriced, but learning to mirror value. The value mirror practice is ongoing calibration. What transformation am I delivering? What's it worth? Am I mirroring that value in my pricing? Most service providers undercharge by 70 to 90% because they price time instead of transformation. The shift to value-based pricing isn't just more money. It's accurate compensation. It's fair exchange. It's mirror alignment. Carlos writes his own money story now, free from his father's fear, free from his mother's anxiety, free from generational trauma. The rewrite happened through deliberate practice. Every morning for 90 days, he wrote his new story. Not affirmations, not fantasy. factual reframe of his actual financial reality separate from inherited programming. His new story went like this. I am Carlos. I grew up watching my parents struggle with money. Their struggle was real. Their fear was justified. Their experience was painful. I honor their story. But their story is not my story. Their past is not my future. Their fear is not my operating system. I have different circumstances, different opportunities, different choices, different resources. Different results are possible for me. I have never missed a mortgage payment. I have never had to choose between medicine and food. I have never worked 3 jobs to survive. I have savings. I have income. I have skills. I have options. I have security they never had. My financial reality is different from theirs. This doesn't diminish their struggle. This acknowledges my opportunity. I choose to honor their experience without inheriting their fear. I choose to learn from their mistakes without repeating them. I choose to write my own money story based on my actual life instead of their historical trauma. I choose abundance programming while respecting their scarcity experience. This is my story. This is my choice. This is my new program. He read this every morning. Let it settle into his nervous system. Let it separate his identity from their trauma. Let it create new programming based on present reality instead of past pain. By day 30, the panic had decreased. By day 60, the anxiety was manageable. By day 90, the curse was broken. Not erased, not forgotten, but no longer controlling. His children are growing up with this story instead of the old one. They hear about their grandparents' struggle with respect and context. But they're not downloading the fear. They're not inheriting the trauma. They're learning that different circumstances create different possibilities. That honoring history doesn't mean repeating it. That family patterns can be broken with awareness and choice. Carlos created a family money meeting practice. Once monthly, he and his wife and their 2 children, age-appropriate money conversations, not fear-based, not scarcity-driven, abundance-focused, teaching kids that money is a tool, that value exchange is normal, that earning is honorable, that giving is joyful, that saving is wise, that investing is smart. Different programming, different conversation, different installation. His 12-year-old daughter sold handmade bracelets last summer. Made $400. Old family program would have said save it all, hoard it, protect it. Money is scarce. New family program said something different. Save some, give some, spend some, enjoy it. Money flows. She saved $100, gave $50 to a cause she cares about, spent $250 on things she wanted, kept 0 fear, installed abundance early. This is generational healing, not therapy, not years of processing, just honest conversation, clear distinction, new story installation. The curse breaks when someone chooses to break it. Carlos chose. His children benefit. Their children will benefit. The ripple runs forward through generations. This is the real transformation. Not just personal, generational. Kim runs 3 businesses now, all built on failure fertilizer. The bankruptcy gave her expensive education. She converted the tuition into competitive advantage. Every mistake documented, every lesson extracted, every warning sign cataloged. Her failure manual became her success blueprint. Competitors are guessing. She has proof. Proof of what doesn't work. That's valuable intelligence. Business One is a consulting firm helping other businesses avoid the mistakes she made. She knows every partnership pitfall, every financial decision trap, every client red flag, every vendor warning sign. She's expensive, charges $20,000 for 90-day engagements, worth 10 times that. Clients avoid disasters she already lived through. They're buying her expensive education. Smart investment. Business 2 is a software company solving a problem she discovered during her bankruptcy. The tools for managing partnership agreements were terrible, created confusion, enabled disputes, contributed to her collapse. She built better software, sold it to thousands of companies. Recurring revenue model, scales beautifully, built from pain points she lived. Business 3 is a training company teaching entrepreneurs failure conversion, how to extract intelligence from mistakes, how to build advantage from collapse, how to leverage lessons for profit. She's teaching what she learned. The bankruptcy that broke her financially made her intellectually wealthy. She monetized the intelligence. Multiple revenue streams from one failure. Ultimate fertilizer leverage. The failure fertilizer practice Kim teaches is systematic. Take any business failure. Extract 3 categories of intelligence. Decision intelligence. What decision-making process failed? What information did you ignore? What assumptions did you make? What questions should you have asked? Document it. Create decision protocols that prevent repeat. Pattern intelligence. What warning signs appeared? When did they start? What did you miss? What should have triggered alarm? Document it. Create pattern recognition systems that catch problems early. Relationship intelligence. What relationship dynamics contributed to failure? What red flags existed? What boundaries were missing? Document it. Create relationship evaluation criteria that prevent toxic partnerships. Every failure has intelligence in all 3 categories. Most people experience failure as shame. Bury it. Hide from it. Let it reinforce limiting beliefs. Kim experiences failure as data, mines it, learns from it, applies it for advantage. Same failure, different process, different outcome. The intelligence is always available. The extraction requires willingness to look clearly instead of looking away. Her failure manual is 200 pages. Detailed documentation of her bankruptcy. Every mistake analyzed. Every lesson extracted. Every warning sign noted. She reviews it quarterly, updates it with new insights, treats it like business Bible, because it cost her everything to create. Worth, everything it generates. The bankruptcy was a $250,000 loss. The manual has generated over $2 million in value. Best education investment she never meant to make. Michael operates from overflow now. The chase is over. The forcing stopped. The desperation died. He creates value. It attracts opportunity. He shares overflow. It multiplies resources. He trusts circulation. It delivers abundance. The shift from chase to overflow tripled his income and halved his hours. Mathematics of magnetic positioning. The overflow positioning happened through content creation. He stopped pitching services, started sharing insights, wrote weekly articles demonstrating expertise, created case studies showing real results, published frameworks revealing his methodology, gave away his best thinking, free, open, abundant. His scarcity program screamed, "You're giving away the secret sauce. People will steal it. Why would they pay if you're giving it free?" Classic scarcity logic. His abundance program had different logic. Give away the what, sell the how, share frameworks, sell implementation, demonstrate expertise, attract clients, overflow thinking, trust circulation. He published 50 articles first year, gave away frameworks worth hundreds of thousands, expected nothing in return, just overflow, just value sharing, just circulation. The response was unexpected. Clients started reaching out. They'd read his articles, seen his frameworks, wanted him to implement the strategies in their businesses. They were pre-sold, pre-educated, pre-convinced. He didn't have to pitch, didn't have to convince, didn't have to chase. They came to him. Overflow attracted, chase repelled. Different energy, different results. His client roster filled with better clients, Higher budgets, bigger projects, more trust, less price sensitivity. They weren't looking for cheapest option. They wanted his specific expertise, his unique approach, his demonstrated results, and they paid premium for it. Average project value went from $8,000 to $27,000. Same expertise, different positioning, different attraction. The overflow positioning practice is simple, but requires trust. Create one valuable piece of content weekly. Article, video, framework, case study. Something that demonstrates expertise. Give it away completely. No gates, no requirements, no paywall, just value. Pure overflow. Do this for 52 weeks minimum. Build body of work. Demonstrate depth. Create a traction field. Content becomes your sales team. Working 24/7. Reaching people you'd never meet. Educating prospects while you sleep. Building trust before you ever talk. Pre-selling your expertise through demonstration. The people who reach out are already convinced, already educated, already ready. The sales conversation shifts from convincing to confirming, from pitching to paperwork. Michael's content approach is systematic. Monday, write one framework article. Teaching A, specific methodology. Thursday, publish one case study, showing specific results every week, without fail. 52 frameworks per year, 52 case studies per year. His body of work is encyclopedic. His expertise is undeniable. His overflow is obvious. Clients find him because his value finds them. The practice requires patience. First 12 weeks, minimal response. His scarcity program questioned the investment. This isn't working. Nobody's reading. Nobody's reaching out. Waste of time, but he trusted overflow. Kept creating. Kept sharing. Kept circulating. Week 17, first client inquiry from content. $8,000 project. Week 23, another. $15,000. Week 31, 3 inquiries 1 week. Combined value, $48,000. The overflow was working. The circulation was returning. Year 2, the floodgates opened. Weekly inquiries, monthly proposals, quarterly 6-figure contracts. His calendar filled 6 months out. All from overflow positioning. All from content circulation. All from trust and abundance physics. Chase creates resistance. Overflow creates attraction. He chose attraction. Attraction chose him back. The installation is complete. The transformation is undeniable. Sarah, Marcus, James, Lisa, David, Rachel, Tom, Jennifer, Carlos, Kim, Michael, Angela, all different people, different starting points, different challenges, different circumstances, same program, same installation, same transformation, scarcity to abundance, fear to trust, lack to overflow. The mechanics are universal. The results are personal. The process is proven. You have everything they had. You have everything they used. The awareness protocols, the interrupt practices, the replacement behaviors, the relapse proofing, the micro challenges, the installation manual, the evidence, the examples, the complete system. Nothing is missing except your decision to install it, your choice to practice it, your commitment to transform. The installation isn't theory. It's not philosophy. It's not positive thinking. It's neural rewiring, behavioral conditioning, program replacement. The brain science is clear. Repeated thoughts create neural pathways. Repeated behaviors strengthen those pathways. Repeated results validate those behaviors. The loop is self-reinforcing. Choose the loop direction, scarcity spiral, or abundance ascent. The choice determines the destination. 90 days from now, you'll have a different program running, different thoughts arising, different decisions executing, different results appearing. The transformation is inevitable if the practice is consistent. Not perfect, not magical, just consistent. Daily awareness, daily interrupt, daily replacement, daily evidence, daily practice, daily installation. 90 days. Complete program transformation. New baseline established. The choice is simple. Install or stay default. Transform or remain comfortable. Abundance or scarcity. But understand the stakes. Staying default isn't neutral. It's choosing limitation. Choosing the same financial anxiety you've carried for years. Choosing the same income ceiling you've hit repeatedly. Choosing the same opportunity blindness that's kept you stuck. Default is a choice. Active choice to remain unchanged. Installing is also a choice. Active choice to transform, to rewire, to upgrade, to overflow. It's work, daily work, deliberate work. But it's work that compounds. Day 1, practice creates Day 2 baseline. Day 2 practice creates Day 3 baseline. 90 days of compounding practice creates permanent transformation. The work is finite. The transformation is permanent. Your mind's abundance isn't coming. It's here, available, accessible, waiting for installation. The program exists. The protocols are proven. The results are documented. The evidence is overwhelming. The only variable is you, your choice, your practice, your installation. Start now.